me and Kevin are the other ones dancing. What's up with that?
Just vibing.
Just vibing. That's how we started up. Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 105 of the Gaming Duo podcast. I'm your host for this week, Rob Garcia, and I'm joined by Kelvin Rolone. Guys, we also have two guests on the show today. It is the Gaming Resume, Onix and Rudy. Rudy and Onix. How you guys doing today?
Yo.
I feel amazing.
You feel amazing?
I feel amazing.
That's good, guys.
Amazing.
I feel good. A bit tired. A bit tired, but good.
I hear that.
Yeah.
If you guys were, if you listen to the conversation we just had about before we went live, we were talking about coffee and café con leche. Like literally, it was all about coffee. So we learned that Rudy is a little bit of a coffee snob, from what I heard. Right? A little bit.
A little bit.
No. Not a snob. A refined palate. Yes.
Oh, sorry, refined palate. It's a nice way of saying stuff.
refined
Yeah.
palate.
Very nice. Yes. And Kelvin likes garbage coffee. Apparently, that's what we learned today.
Wow, dude, really? Starbucks is garbage? Let's hear that.
No, it was the McDonald's. I think that.
Yeah.
All that said was if you're in
McDonald's.
a pinch and you're late to work, and McDonald's is right there, it's not bad. It's $1.25. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Well, I'll continue to drink my nice coffee over the McDonald's coffee if I have the opportunity to. But
okay. All right.
You know. Anyways, guys, if you're listening for the first time, we are the podcast that brings you the latest gaming news and have profound discussions about said gaming news. This week we have the Gaming Resume, and what they do is they have a YouTube channel where they have discussions, reacts, reviews, and coffee. They actually like to talk about coffee as well on the channel. If you guys kind of want to give our audience kind of rundown what your channel does, a little more in depth before we kind of hop into the news and talk about all that fun stuff, give us a little.
Rudy, go ahead. Start us off.
Oh, you want me to start off? Okay, all right. Yeah. So we are essentially a powerhouse duo. I feel like we're a powerhouse duo, Onix, we're essentially all about reactions. We have a good time, and honestly, it's about building a community more than anything else. Right. Mm-hmm. And I feel like through that, we get to have discussions about all types of games. That's one of the things that I think Onix and we can both agree on. It. We're kind of we're non-biased when it comes to the platforms. We're more about just experiencing the games, experiencing the stories, different mechanics from different developers, and just having a good time.
Right.
Onix, what do you think?
Yeah, likewise. Our channel.
I disagree. I disagree
entirely. You're off base, dude. No, our channel started with the idea of being a discussion channel, and it kind of evolved into a reaction channel, for better or worse. But like Rudy said, I think what we've gained out of this whole experience is that community, right? We have a Discord that's pretty active, surprisingly so, right? And people talk every day about just the latest and greatest news and things like that. So I like it a lot. Recently I got into Final Fantasy 14 because of the community members, and I am very, very, very happy because I'm actually loving the heck out of this game. So that's, if anything, like TGR is a reaction channel. TGR does sometimes reviews and the occasional discussion video, but most importantly, we really are a community of just fun gaming enthusiasts.
Awesome. If you guys want to check that out, it is youtube.com/thegamingresume, but we're going to talk more about that later in our in-game chat segment. So we'll take a little deep dive into your guys' lives. And I know you guys also do things separately, kind of on the side. Like, Onix, you stream on Twitch. And I know, Rudy, you do kind of your own channel with YouTube and stuff like that. So we'll definitely talk more about that. But, Kelv, how has your week been? How are you doing? How are the kids? How's everything going? Everything's good?
Everything's great, man. Everything is great. I'm having a great time. Just going through the gaming news, seeing what's new, what's hot. We have a lot to talk about today. Obviously,
it's a jam-packed episode,
and I'm just ready to talk about it, man. I'm ready.
Ready to jump in? Well, before we jump into today's news, guys, there was a new episode of The Last of Us, episode 2. So what we like to do is before we jump in, we want to kind of break down the episode, and again, it is going to be a little bit spoiler. So if you haven't played the game or watched the show, spoilers. Onix and Rudy, I know you guys are caught up. So I kind of want to open the floor, and I'll start with Rudy first. What did you think of episode 2 so far?
Dude, can I just say, I had a hair-raising, I mean, I don't have hair on my head, but like a hair-raising experience when I heard the clickers in the music.
Oh, dude.
PTSD galore.
Yes, dude.
Like I heard it and I was like, so first off, I was late to the party. I watched it, way past its premiere date.
Mhm.
And I knew that the actors that actually played the clickers in the games also voiced the clickers in the show.
Yes.
So they are experienced in that. But when I heard it, dude, it was just, I'm getting chills now just like talking about it because it was so amazing.
It's a combination
well
of that and their movement as well. It was perfectly well done, right? The
really
way they're
was.
They
moving,
executed
just
it, yeah.
exactly like the game. I love it. I love it so much.
Onyx, what about you? Same thing? Do you have any gripes about the show, or let's
I
talk
do.
more? Let's break it down. Actually, let's do clickers. Clickers first. I
Yeah,
think
okay,
everyone.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do have. Well, okay, yes, I do like the clickers. I think that if anything from the show, right, besides like Pedro Pascal's performance as Joel, if anything else is like perfect in the show, it's those clickers. That first introduction to them, how it was handled, how like they were kind of like in the back. You hear them obviously first, and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh, honey, that's the clickers.
Get a load of this guy.
It was just great, and it also it reminds me of this tweet that I saw that it's like, oh, the show just told me that the appropriate way to handle that first introduction to the clickers is to mess up and try to shoot them a lot, which is really funny because you don't do that in the game. You try to stealth.
No. Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, no, that particular introduction, Joel, like honestly, Pedro Pascal is killing it.
Dude, yeah.
As Joel, because Joel is a character, right? There's a lot of layers to the dude that people that are only watching the show barely see, right? But barely know right now. But it's good. It's really good.
Yeah. Gelf, are you hate it or it sucks? The show sucks.
Yeah, man. I'm done after this. This is it. No, this show just keeps getting better in my opinion. I think the first episode was very strong, very strong introductions to The Last of Us. And for those that don't really know about the game, they're getting a really great experience. I feel like they don't know another side of this world, right? And so I love how they intertwine new things and just like things that we already know, and they just kind of like add layers to it. I love how they changed some things in the show, but also kept it fresh. I love how they added the whole concept of, well, they're a living organism, right? And which we knew that, but they kind of really emphasized that in the show. And with the, like them having like this connection somehow that if you fall or you scream or you make some type of noise, they'll hear you like miles away. Like that wasn't added in the game, and that's a great like change of the whole lore behind The Last of Us. I love that part to it. There's so many good things about it.
It's funny you say that part. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Go for it. No.
Yeah.
At first, right, when we first started hearing about the show, we started hearing that this whole tendril thing was going to be new, which it is, right? In the game, it was spores. Spores were the ones that actually kind of spread the infection, which is why they used to wear a lot of the masks. And I know that, and I only know this because I just showed my wife the real cordyceps fungus because she didn't know about this, right? It's a real freaking fungus, and in reality, it spreads via spores as well. So like that's accurate to the actual fungi. And I might be wrong here, but I think they kind of took the idea of other fungi and their whole networks with those tendrils.
Yes.
And that kind of like they kind of came up with this like TV version of the cordyceps. At first I was hesitant because I'm like, damn, I like the how accurate it was to the real cordyceps with the spores. And I liked how that was used in the game to reveal, right, Ellie's immunity. Like I believe it was like the mask broke and Joel sees that and she's like, oh crap.
Yes.
What the hell? Right.
That
moment was very, very powerful. Obviously it's been changed. We already saw the moment. I think the moment still holds a lot of weight. It just, I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm not necessarily a purist that I need everything to be exactly the same. I like adaptations that make changes for that particular medium, in this case, live action. And I think overall, seeing how the network of sorts connects to all these other like infected and they come running and everything, that adds an additional layer of tension. I just need to see how it's going to play out later. As an introduction, good. I hope that they're able to write it properly because again, those spores and how it played in the game, it made so much sense, right? that I kind of lamented it, but I'm still hopeful. That's my only gripe, and also Tess. But we can talk about Tess in a little bit.
Yeah. We'll talk about her. The one thing about this show that I think they're executing perfectly is that it's not trying to be the game. It's complementing the game.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's the best thing you can do, because if you try and become the game, it's not going to work. I think a good example of this was the Uncharted movie. I think the Uncharted movie tried to be the game, in a sense, where they literally kind of like recreated a lot of the scenes, like the airplane scene. It was literally exactly the way it was, kind of like.
Dude,
in the
I haven't
game
even seen the movie, and I saw a trailer, and I'm like, that's Uncharted 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think with Last of Us, they've really captured the essence of what Last of Us is and how you would imagine it in your head if it was real life and not a video game. And they did it. I think they're doing it perfectly right now. So I'm excited to see what they have. But since we're talking about Tess, you were thinking kind of a gripe about Tess. Let's talk about that.
Very minimal. Very minimal. It was really how she went out, right? And again, major spoilers for people who haven't seen the show.
This is very bad. Yeah, this is huge spoilers.
Like,
Spoilers.
If you guys remember, right? In the game, they were being pursued by humans, and she kind of, you do find out she's infected, but she kind of goes out like it was just different. It was a whole different threat that was coming at them. So like it was handled differently, and also,
thank you.
We spent more time. That was cool. That was nice. That was nice. We spent more time with her as well, which kind of gave us more of an emotional reaction to that. At least I did. I felt pretty emotional when that moment happened in the game. Whereas in the show, I was like, it's episode 2. Like, okay, bye, I guess, So that's really my biggest gripe.
Bye.
Yeah.
I don't know what they. I don't know. It was just really weird how they executed her death.
I did like the tendril thing, that body horror when like the dude, like the friggin' infected came in and like.
That was weird. That was weird though. They made it almost like sexual, and I did not like it. It was it's. I mean, they did it where like I got skeeved out. They succeeded, right? I was like, but
I get it.
It didn't feel like The Last of Us, and that's where I'm like, okay, where do we cross a line of adaptation and keeping the original like meaning? I guess you could say, right, the original vision. And Neil Druckmann directed this episode, so like, the dude was there. He was on set. Like, he knows what he was doing. He's obviously okay with this change. And again, I don't necessarily see it as a pure negative. I thought that it was weird, like what Robert said. Like weird, and it makes you feel all feelings on the inside. Very body horror, which I didn't see that much in The Last of Us at all. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's episode 1 and 2 up until that point, like you said, like everyone said, it kind of complemented the game, right? This kind of felt like it deviated way too much.
A little bit out,
right? Yeah. And I get the concept, right? I get it. Okay, Tess is infected at this point, right? And so they sense that, and so I guess the way that they spread this, right, is they somehow
they have to get into you.
They
they bite you, and
then Tess just didn't want to, like, she just let it happen in a sense, right? Because she knew she was gonna go, and she's trying to light the. So I get it, but it's just the way that was executed. I'm like,
was it too? How I took it. That I took it as her like losing control to the fungus.
I didn't take it that way because she kept.
I didn't think of that.
No, she kept on trying, but it almost felt like, I mean, I
thought she was just paralyzed with fear. If I'm honest, that's what
I thought that she was paralyzed because, I mean, she literally just watched everybody just like go, and I don't know if she was just stopping to let everybody pass by, but it almost felt like the cordyceps.
She had no control.
She was losing control at that point, and she was just. I mean, she wasn't turning her head, trying to avoid it at all. It just went straight into her mouth, dude. Which, by the way,
but that's actually
that's how I interpreted it, and that's just
interesting.
I like that better, honestly.
I do like that better.
They didn't make it very obvious, right? Because in a lot of movies, when they do that, they'll have like maybe the eye changing a little bit, or
there was a scene. and I think
she was literally like
Rudy,
looking down trying to get it, right?
Yeah, I was just
But
gonna
I
say
don't
that
know.
there was a scene where she was like trying to hold her arm because it was like twitching at one point.
That's
Right,
true.
at the
That's true.
beginning.
That's true. Okay.
So maybe
Oh.
I don't know. That's a very good point though. That's a very
Yeah,
good
yeah.
point.
That I didn't take it that way, but that's totally possible.
I have a
Yeah.
question then about when they start running in, right? When they start running in and they're passing her, they're not attacking her. It's because she's infected, right? That she's already infected.
That's
so
my assumption. Yes.
Right.
she's
so,
already
but
part
why
of the
wasn't
network.
this one that's like, hey, I see you,
Dude,
I'm
I
gonna-
don't, it's like, I'm trying to think of video game logic, because the video game logic, right, it's like, if they don't see you, you're
Right.
good. So it's like, okay, they didn't clearly see her, right? They have the vision, they're not seeing her, but
Right, they can see.
if there's a network of them all being connected at some point, then I don't know, dude. I don't know. I really don't. That's weird. It's a good
I
question.
mean, it could be where it's just like and again, this is me pulling out of thin air, is that the logic that I've seen is that because she isn't 100% on the network, that this infected being goes ahead and sees her and is just like, let's finish the job. Let's get her. I see that you're not coming with me. Let's
come to the
fucking
dark
go.
side. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come to the dark side. So to
I
do.
like that way better. That
I
makes
don't
it,
know, man. Like I
Yeah.
literally saw it and I was just all like, okay, she's clearly losing control. Like while Joel were there, and she was just like, go, leave. I'm gonna try to hold them off. And when she's like just about to turn, that's when it's the lighter's finally on. I'm dropping it. Bye bye. But again,
Interesting.
that's just how I interpreted it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if they do any more of those scenes like that. And
Right,
go from
right.
there.
yeah. I think if it would have been quicker, where the clicker or whatever they are before clickers, runners, are they called runners?
Runners.
before they turn
I think
clickers.
they're called runners. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
And I think if he would have been a little more aggro or aggressive towards her, but it was the way they made it seem. It just seemed very, very like slow and like, I'm inching up towards you and I'm slowly gonna put my little tentacles in your mouth. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very much for dramatic effect, I think.
yeah. So
Again, Neil directed this. He was okay with the fact that this was going
Right.
this direction. So, I guess it is what it is. But it wasn't bad. It was just odd. That's all.
that's it. That's all it was.
Like I said, it didn't feel like The Last of Us. For people that obviously played the game, for new viewers, it's like whatever. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
this is what it's about.
No,
you
this
know?
is how it works.
Yeah.
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 Small
So-
nitpick, I think, but
Overall, guys, you enjoyed the episode. What are we
Yeah.
giving it? Just they're pulling the course as far as where they should be going, or they think it should stop what they're doing after that episode. Just keep going,
Keep going, man.
keep going, keep going. with
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, I think they should.
think
I think
so,
they
yeah.
should keep going.
I want to see.
like
I
what
want to see where this direction
Yeah.
is going. Right. I kind of want to see like
Exactly.
where it ultimately leads. Right. Those key moments that we know from the game that are coming. Like, I don't know if you guys follow Gene Park on Twitter, but he says that he's like a Washington Post games journalist, and he said that this next episode is coming up is the best episode of the season. He already watched all 8 episodes.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Bill episode, right?
Yep.
So I'm excited to see that.
Dude, and
gonna be
Bill is
nice.
being played by oh my god, what's his name?
Ron. is it
Well,
Ron?
from Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
His real name. Damn, I'm forgetting
What's his
right
name?
now.
It's gonna kill me. I know exactly what you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, he's Nick Offerman or Offerman,
Yes.
one of the two.
Yes.
Dude,
Offerman.
fantastic actor, by the way. Like he's super
mhm.
underrated. I've seen him in other shows and stuff, and I'm like, this guy's good. Like he needs to get more show. I'm really excited to see how he like portrays Bill. You know,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think so too. Well, guys, enough about Last of Us. We'll reconvene episode 3 next week. We'll talk about that. But we got some news for the week, and we got dropped with a Xbox Developer Direct. This was the first one ever. Did everyone watch it?
Yes.
I did.
Everyone's caught up. Okay, so I'm just gonna run through what they showcased, and then we'll just break it down and talk about it. So there were 5 big games. It was Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport. So not Forza Motorsport 6 or 5, whatever the next one is. It's just Motorsport. It looks like they're going back in
Copy,
time,
kind
or
of.
just kind of like a rebrand.
Like rebrand? Okay.
Yeah. There's Hi-Fi Rush, which I'm sure everyone's super pumped about that one, which seemed pretty sick. Elder Scrolls Online has a pretty decent sized update going up, and Redfall we saw. Those were kind of the 5 games that were shown. Let's start with the first one, Minecraft Legends. What did you guys think? Are you guys big Minecraft fans? Yes, no, maybe?
Onyx, you want to start this over?
Dramatic pause. I don't know.
Yeah, are you?
So I'll start off with this, right? I want to make this clear, right? Like Rudy said, we do like all types of games and everything like that, but
there's limits.
You know what? I'll take the bullet for this one. I have a refined palate when it comes to games, right?
Oh, there we go,
Let's see
baby.
what you did
I genuinely
Just like Rudy.
like I know what I like, and I know where there's some things that I'm willing to try, and I know like eventually I probably won't really enjoy or whatever.
Right.
I have not really played Minecraft like that. My son plays it.
Yes.
I see him play it a while, but I'm not into Minecraft. So seeing Legends, cool.
Yeah,
That's
just
about it.
that. I think that's what I think. Most of us here are not big Minecraft fans. I don't know, Rudy. I can't tell if you are or not. The way you're looking at me, I don't know.
Well, it's like okay. So I played Minecraft. That's the thing. So when I first got the Nintendo Switch, one of the first things that I did get was Minecraft. I wanted to check it out, see what it was all about, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Thought it was a great thing, but I only played probably like 40, 50 hours. I know people that put hundreds. It's like, you get Minecon going and it's insane, man. There's laptops everywhere. People are playing all over the place. It's crazy. My son loves Minecraft to the point to where he'll tell me like random lore, and I'm just like, dude,
Really?
please, you're like way past me.
Yeah, you lost me, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know any of that stuff. But looking at this, I was like, oh, maybe this is a good opportunity where I can go ahead and play with my son, have a good time, and just have fun. But something just didn't really sell me with what they showed during this presentation.
It's a strategy game, right? It's a strategy version of Minecraft. And if you like Minecraft and you like strategy, this is obviously in your wheelhouse for sure. But if you're not into those things, this was kind of like, okay, cool. I'm not really into it, but I'm glad they showed it. I mean, that's how I feel too, right? I was just like, awesome. Not really pumped for this, but I did want to touch up on it.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else about Minecraft Legends before we move on?
I'm not.
You getting a day one? You're getting a day one? Yeah.
Day one? No, absolutely not. I'm not a huge Actually, I don't like the fact that Steve's in Smash. Like that's how bad I don't like.
Yeah, he does not like.
Really?
He hates Steve. He's really.
Listen. Well, hold on. You hate Steve. Why do you hate Steve? What do you hate Steve?
Yeah.
In general, or just in Smash? Like,
I guess. Why?
Okay.
In
In Smash, I take that back. I appreciate that he is in Smash because Smash is a celebration of gaming as a whole, and he's a very huge portion of what.
Yeah,
he's an icon. Yes. I get that. As a character, though, I don't like him as a character. I just feel like there's nothing about him that really interests me, and I just don't vibe with his art direction, his art style, anything like that. But I get it. I get. I get the fan base.
It's like the Game & Watch stuff,
have you ever played Minecraft, dude?
I've played it like maybe once when it first came out, but I'm like, this is not for me, man. That was it, man. That was it. So going back to the game, I'm not really a huge fan of it. It was cool for people that enjoyed it. Great. This is more Minecraft for you, but it's just not for me.
Yeah. Cool. Like I said, it's again cool that they showed it, but let's move on to Forza Motorsport. Wow.
Yep.
What do you guys think? I mean, there's going to be ray tracing. There's going to be over 500 cars. There's a single player.
It looks fantastic.
They really highlighted the lighting in this game. I think that's the main thing. Is it was lighting. It's coming out in 2023. I think May. I don't got the dates in front of me, but
was it May? No, I think Redfall was May.
Yes, Redfall.
Yeah. Forza Motorsport doesn't have a date yet.
Okay, it's to be determined.
Yeah. That game looks absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have not played a driving sim in a very long time. I was looking forward to the latest release of Gran Turismo, and like all the microtransactions and everything totally turned me off. I was like, I am not into this at all. So I'm hoping that Forza Motorsport can give me that, so I can go ahead and play. Onix and we played Forza Horizon 4, which completely different, much more arcadey,
a little different,
less sim. But we loved it.
Loved it. Like we like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We were like just playing that game exclusively on stream with the community and everything.
Yeah.
Forza 4, and I played a little bit. But did you ever play 5? Did you ever actually start 5 already?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I also play like 5 or 6 hours of 5, and I was like, I just played like 20 hours of 4. I think I'm done with Horizon for a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. So like personally, like Motorsport looks good, but I don't think I'm gonna be playing it just because like Rudy said, I haven't played a driving sim in a very long time, and I don't think I'm really into it as much anymore. So probably not gonna play it, but it looks good.
Wait, what about you, Kel? You gonna play this? You picking this up or same thing?
No. I think again, I'm not really into the Sims. I'm not like in the Sims category, especially when it comes to racing. But it looks cool. It looks again. I love that they highlighted about the ray tracing. I love how they highlighted over 500 cars. Like they're giving the players what they want, right? They're giving the fan base what they want. They want to talk about ray tracing. They want to talk about all the details and all the little subtle changes that they've done to the series, and they nailed it. They showed gameplay, which is great. They gave the players exactly what they wanted, so it was cool. I'm surprised that they're kind of like rebranding it though, right? Like, is there a reason, do you think, as to why? Is it sales wise, or is it?
Was weird that they did kind of start rebranding. I don't know why they went with that. I think it was fine, but maybe to kind of separate itself from Gran Turismo, maybe because Gran Turismo was going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this was like 4, so 5, 6, 7. So maybe like to kind of like separate itself from the other like. We were getting kind of crazy with the numbers at this point because we have Forza Horizon 4, Forza Horizon 5. Like, I think it was
we got Final Fantasy 16 coming out this year. I mean, I don't know if numbers are that bad.
That's true. That's true.
That is fair.
I don't know. I think sometimes soft reboots just work. Like, look at God of War. It's obviously God of War 4, but we don't call it God of War 4. It's God of War 2018. Or God of War or whatever. Right. So soft reboots can work for like titles and stuff. And
I think it works here.
No, it works. I was just wondering why the subtle change. That's all.
They'll probably give it a subtitle next time. Forza Motorsports, kicking ass. I don't know.
Drive faster. I don't know.
Drive fast. Too fast.
Gotta go fast.
Too Forza.
I do think out of all the driving sims, Forza tends to come out on top. At least for me, it's the one I easily.
It definitely overtook Gran Turismo. I know GT was at the top for a while, but I think Forza overtook it already. Yeah.
I prefer Horizon. Just because of the arcade style.
Dude, it's so much fun. Yeah. Jump in.
So it's fun. It's definitely my type of game. Like we talked about this before, Rob, in the past, but we played like what was the other game that we played in Midnight Club, right? Midnight Club.
Oh, wow. Yep. That's a throwback.
Midnight Club Dub Edition, man. That was our shit, dude. So,
hey, for definitely. Speed Underground?
Yes.
Come on, dude.
Most Wanted.
Forget about that.
Yep. Oh my god, dude! I spent way too much time in Most.
Getting the pink slips, trying to get the different cars. That was sick.
Yeah, I stuck to my RSX for way too long.
You went through that game of RSX for like that,
like 50%. I was so in love with Acura, man. Like Integras and of course the RSX.
Bro, there's a reason why I like mentioned it earlier about the Acura Integras, man. That's like that was the thing. That was the thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the beauty of that game, though. You can go through one car your entire playthrough and go and just keep it, and it's still go. But we'll move on from Forza. But we have a new game called Hi-Fi Rush that's made by Tango Gameworks, and it's available now, right now. I actually have it downloaded. They shadow dropped it. They were showing this game off, and then out of nowhere, just like it's actually available. And what it is, it's a musical beat 'em up. It's a rhythm action game. You basically take the role of this guy named, I think, Chai T or some shit. His name is Chai. I think it's just
Chai T.
Some shit like that.
Yeah, it's Chai, and you're just like
great.
And the best way I can kind of describe this game is it reminds me of like Scott Pilgrim a little bit in a sense.
Yes, dude. I said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Scott Pilgrim, and then what's the game? Sunset Overdrive. Like
yes,
it definitely has that vibe, Yeah, dude.
Those two had a baby, and this is what came out.
And
right?
this is Hi-Fi.
So what do you guys think of this game? Let's talk about the game itself, and then the fact that it dropped today. And have you played it yet? Kel?
I have not played it, but that was the highlight of the direct, in my opinion. This was. To me, I feel like they should have showed this first. Like this is something like they could have announced it like right there. It would have a great start for that. It just looks cool. It has it's oozing with like character. It's oozing with just a lot of like cool personality. Like it just looks fun. Like you said, Rob, Scott Pilgrim. It gave me Scott Pilgrim vibes because you're like going through the levels and facing off these
different bosses,
enemies, different bosses, and then the Sunset Overdrive vibe gave me because just the art style, and then also just because you're like jumping around and doing all these like cool little things. So it just looks fun. It looks great. The fact that it's coming out right now, it's developed by the guys that made Evil Within, which is interesting. I'm like, this is a completely different
Yeah,
game
they
for
went
them,
different direction, like super happy and colorful versus death
Yeah,
and bleak, and
and Ghost Rider Tokyo as well. So it's a nice fresh take on this kind of like music era or game that they're trying to do. So it's cool.
Yeah.
I definitely am excited for it.
I never played it, but Onyx, I think you mentioned in our Discord that it reminded you of Jet Set Radio.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah,
a
that's a good
little
one.
bit.
That's a good
Just
one.
really more like the attitude and
Okay.
and the art style. Because Jet said it, you're on skates, right? You're kind of going around the city, graffitiing stuff, and like riding on rails and things like that, outrunning the police. So it's very different. There's actually a successor or a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. I forget the name right now. It's like something Punk Bomb. I forget the name. But that's being made. I actually thought that was it because for a second I was working while this was like airing.
Yeah,
I'm like, holy shit, is this it? And then I'm like, oh, wait, it's not. But still, it definitely gave me a little bit of the vibe of Jet Set in that era of Sega.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to try it. I haven't been able to. It's on my PC as well, but
Everyone downloaded it. I haven't yet. I have to like get on that.
No, dude,
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I haven't downloaded it either.
Oh, okay,
Like,
good.
but I do plan on like getting it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Gameplay's like just seems cool, and like it being like music based.
Oof.
Dude,
Yeah, the
like
rhythm-based,
I'm all about it. I saw like the few artists that like collabed with them, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's copyright claim heaven right there. Like I'm not gonna stream that.
No
anywhere.
way. No way. Yeah.
But there's a streamer mode apparently. I don't know. I'll see
Oh,
if I
really?
actually
That's cool.
download it. Yeah. I just gotta see it.
Not only is it like music based, but it also like I love that they added a step further where the whole world is kind of like music based, right?
It's
So
just-
even
yeah.
the levels, if there's like something in your path, it's kind of going based off of the music, and so everything is kind of connected in that sense based off of the music that's playing, which is really cool.
I really do love the rhythm genre just because of how many different ways they're able to introduce it into different other genres, like kind of fuse the
Right.
two together, right? Like you had what was the one that came out last year? Metal Hellsinger, something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
That also came, but it was like more of a shooter doomy type. And then you have this one, which is a third person, which is really cool.
Dude, Crypt of the Necro Dancer. Which was, I would say, well, I think that was the first one that actually did it. Crypt of the Necro Dancer, and then they went into what was the Zelda version of that? Something of Hyrule.
Cadence of Hyrule.
Cadence of Hyrule. Thank you. I don't know if you guys played that.
No.
Dude, that was
It's
actually
money.
really fucking good.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
I
a Zelda
bought the
rhythm
physical
game.
edition because it
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah, super good, guys. Like if you like games like this, try that out.
Yeah.
You'll like it. A lot.
Alright.
Very, very
I still
polished.
have to play the Kingdom Hearts melody of, I forget what the name of the one is, but the melody
Yeah.
something, I forget what it
Truth
is.
or something. Yeah.
58 by 2.
Melody
That
of
sounds
Light.
like it would be a title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Persona Dancing All Night, I think, is another one that's another rhythm based. That's again, that genre is, I think, very underrated. Just because of like we're so used to like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Those are like the ones that like are stuck in our head. But there's
Dance
so
Dance
many rhythm
Revolution,
games. Out of
baby.
it. Yeah, Dance Dance
yeah.
DDR. Yeah,
DDR, bro.
DDR, man.
I also like the character. What was his name? Some shit. What did you call him?
Chai Tea.
Chai.
Chai Tea, some shit.
I apologize.
So yeah, he didn't really. At first, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be too much, right? But like they did a good job with him. I think he seems like a fun character. He seems like he has a good like personality that you can kind of like vibe with while you're playing the game. It's not too overbearing. I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah. One another game that I thought of was No More Heroes. That's what this kind of reminded me a little bit of.
Very much. Very
that's
much.
true.
So. I
Yeah.
can see that. Yes.
Good
No
point,
More
good
Heroes is
point.
wacky. So
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next two games, I want to say that I think this was, and I think you all agree, this was kind of the high point of the direct, right?
It was.
I think after this, we were kind of slowing down, and the fact that this is kind of what people want. They want those shadow drops. They want something to be hype about, like, oh my god, like that was unexpected, like holy crap. What did you guys think as far as them shadow dropping that game? Like, were you like super pumped that they were like, wow, we get to play it today? And or do you think that Xbox kind of relies too much on that they're able to kind of shadow drop like that? That's what they feel like is enough hype to get people going in a sense.
I think that, I mean, I said it before the stream. I wanted them to release something that we don't know yet, right? And this kind of got leaked, I guess, before.
Yeah. It was just
it was an awful leak. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is what they needed, and I wish they continued this throughout the presentation just a little bit. Maybe one more title that would have been like at the end, and like, hey, here's one more thing. But it's nice to see those things, because you don't, again, you're not in a time of age where like everything now is basically just laid out to you. It's like, hey, we're doing this direct, but here's what we're doing. Don't get your hopes up. Sorry. And you're like, all right, well, that kind of kills the mood. This kind of gave you at least a little break of like, oh shit, like that's cool. I didn't know this was happening. Like, oh, it's coming out now. Like, that's even better. Like, I don't think that's ever actually been done before, where like a really big title like this of this scope was just released, like was announced and released day one. Maybe smaller indie titles, but nothing.
Can't think of that in my head. It has happened before, but I can't remember what the top of my head.
I know, like Hollow Knight, but that wasn't really an announcement. That was like for the Nintendo Switch version and stuff. It was like, oh, by the way, this is coming to the Switch. By the way, it's out today. It was like, oh,
right,
shit,
yeah,
that's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but it wasn't, not an announcement. I can't think of one, man. I really can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Halo probably would be the next one, but like the fact that they moved it up early, they didn't shadow. Yeah, they moved it up and said it's out now. Actually, just kidding.
Yeah. That's right. The PvP, right? The
multiplayer. I think was released. Yeah.
PvP. God.
Let's wrap this up with the two other ones, which was Elder Scrolls Online. We just got the Necrom update. It's more DLC for Elder Scrolls Online. Are you guys Elder Scrolls Online guys?
This is all I'm going to say about Elder Scrolls Online.
No.
And that's literally it. I'm not going to say anything else after this for the rest of this segment. Play Final Fantasy 14 instead.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a hot take.
Dang,
that's a hot take.
Dude.
This guy is
starting wars.
Oof. No,
how I feel about Elder Scrolls Online is I just want to play Skyrim, or I want to just play like the regular series. I don't want to play the MMO because I know there's better MMOs.
There's
out
definitely
there.
better MMOs, yeah.
You know,
and that wasn't even a dig at Elder Scrolls Online per se, because I don't know how the game plays, right? It's just like I have not heard. And I'm not in those circles, so maybe that's why. But I haven't heard anybody be like, "Yo, this is the MMO you got to play." Right? I'm not. And all of a sudden in our community, it's like people literally bought me and Rudy the starter pack for Final Fantasy 14 because we got to play it. And it's like, okay, well, clearly 14 is it's yes, Ragnar. It really did hit me hard. I've put in like over 50 hours into the game already in 3 weeks. It's kind of nuts.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know.
I'm almost afraid to start any MMO. I'm not a huge MMO guy, but
I was just like you, man.
That's what Onix said.
Okay. I was just like you, dude. I was literally like, I don't know if I can do this because whatever. I don't regret it.
I'm just like, WoW, obviously a huge game. I'm just like, I'm okay. I don't want to start it because I've heard horror stories, and Final Fantasy 14 looks cool. It looks great. I'm just scared. Plus, I don't know, how much is it? Like $20 a month or something? Is that
something like that?
So
15 or 20?
15, right, for 30 days. But this is the thing. Like you the first 60 levels, right? And that gets you to the end of the first expansion. That's free. Right?
I'm sorry, you said the first what? 60 levels?
60 levels.
It's a huge game, man. It's ridiculous.
So
you hear 60, but it's not that big, guys. Like they I think multiply the experience that you get in a free trial by 2.
Oh, so do they?
You level up a lot faster than you think.
Oh shit, that's interesting. I'm level 53 right now, which is interesting.
Yeah, but are you paying or
no? Yeah, I'm using the starter pack thing, so it's not considered a free trial. But either way, like even if you hit it, I don't think you stop playing. I think you can still play.
Keep on playing.
Just that, like,
just capped.
Once you get to the content cap, that's where it stops, and that's the first expansion. So you literally can play for like 80 hours for free, right?
Yeah, man.
And then it's like, okay, I got 80 hours for free. Now you pay $30-$40 for an expansion. There's only 5, and then you pay $15 a month. Each expansion is the full game's worth.
You can experience the entire thing by yourself, man.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to have other. It plays like a Final Fantasy game. If you like Final Fantasy,
interesting.
Straight up feels like it. This is it's unique because like it actually has cutscenes. It actually has like voiced like scenes where it's like you can't even skip them, right? You're in a party of 4 people and you're watching the scene, and if you're the only one that's seeing it for the first time, guess what? Everybody else is watching it with you, because the game really wants you to experience the story. And honestly, pretty solid story, and I hear it gets way better than what I've experienced so far. So if you're a Final Fantasy fan, I say
Onyx,
give it a
you're
shot,
kind
man.
of selling me on
He
this
sold
shit,
him.
dude. I think you're kind of selling me on this shit, dude. Like, holy shit. I've never been like, never even wanted to talk about Final Fantasy 14. I'm just like, yeah, I know it's great. I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna bother. But that's
I don't know. Maybe it appeals to my specific taste at the moment. Maybe it just came at the right time. I'm very much into the Final Fantasy fandom at the moment, right? With 7 remakes, 16, and all that.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe, right? But I'm blown away by how much I'm enjoying it, and I can't believe that people are like, "I'm glad you're enjoying it, dude. You're gonna fucking love it later." It's like,
Wow.
really? How? I'm liking it so much already. How can I love it more? Like, I'm like afraid. I'm genuinely now. I'm afraid because I'm like, oh god, am I gonna love it that much? You know?
Kelvin, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If you download it,
Rob.
if you download it, I will download it with you.
Let's fucking go. I'm down for that.
Only if you download it. I'm not downloading crap until you do it. So
okay, I'm
holding you to it.
I'll screenshot it. And
I'll download it.
Yo, hey, we'll give you we'll give you our server. You guys can. I'll gladly play with you guys.
Oh hell yeah!
Gladly.
All right. See, we already got a squad going.
All right.
Boom.
Are you playing it on PC or you're playing it on a console?
PC.
Okay.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. It's crossplay.
It's
Is it? I thought it wasn't crossplay.
I think it is.
Is it crossplay?
Pretty sure it is.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. It's that one of our viewers, Skytron. He's in EU, so he can't play with us unless he transfers over. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is crossplay. Yeah.
So basically, don't get Elder Scrolls Online. We just talked about Final Fantasy 14 instead.
Yoshi P owes me like $100 right now.
Let's finish this Xbox Direct up with Redfall. We kind of knew it was coming. They showed us gameplay. There's single player, there's co-op, 4-player co-op. It's interesting concept, but it really was like kind of like Left 4 Dead vibes with vampires with abilities. It's coming to Game Pass May 2nd, so that's kind of nice. It is coming to Game Pass. What did you guys think of Redfall? Is this kind of something you're gonna like breeze pass over? You might pick it up if it is on Game Pass, or you're kind of whatever about it.
I feel like right now, first off, beautiful game. Looks absolutely like beautiful graphically speaking. I'm not sold on it to the point to where I'm like, yes, I want to, invest time into it. If I'm going to play it, I'm going to play it via Xbox Game Pass. But a part of me, I haven't finished Deathloop. I only played like a little bit of it just to get a taste of it. But a part of me feels like it's going to be like Deathloop, where like leading up to Deathloop, all the marketing was poo-poo-ka-choo. Like it was not good. Like I personally was not sold by the death.
It was not,
dude. It was horrible,
and they jammed it down our throats too. It was just
over it.
Any presentation. By the way, Deathloop, you're gonna see 5 commercials for it, and I feel like Redfall might follow the same steps. And then when it finally comes out, it might actually be a really solid game.
Yeah,
but it just I'm not being sold right now. What about you, Onyx?
The only hope that I have for Redfall is one, the developers, right? They developed Dishonored, right?
Yes,
in Arcane, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like Dishonored 1. I played Dishonored 1 quite a bit. So that's my one hope, and my other hope is that maybe this will be the final like replacement for Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead has left a big hole in like the horde shooter genre, if you want to call it that. I don't even know what it's called, but I feel like they just haven't made a really, really good one since Left 4 Dead 2.
So a spiritual successor to that?
I mean, possibly. It's not zombies, right? It's vampires. And the characters have like abilities, so it's kind of like hero shooter based, kind of like Overwatch, Apex. It's like a big mixture, but maybe that's what the genre needs, right? Something that's a little bit different, but still gives you that Left 4 Dead vibe. That's my only hope. I'm not very interested at all in playing it. If it comes out and people are saying exactly what I want it to be, like, yo, this is what we wanted, then okay, I'll give it a shot. But I'm not very excited, honestly. We were talking about donuts in the stream.
We were. That's where the discussion of coffee and donuts.
Damn.
It was bad. It was like, damn, guys, we're not even paying attention.
Kelp, you're in the same boat, I'd imagine, with Redfall. It's not really sold.
It's never really sold me. It looks very generic in my opinion. I just don't. There's nothing next gen about it. It just feels very like, it's just there. I just wish they did a little bit more to. I don't know, spice the gameplay up or something. Because I think for me the gameplay could be fun if you're playing co-op, but by yourself, I don't really know what there is to give. Like I don't think it's gonna be fun at all.
Those games are you gotta play it co-op.
You gotta play, but yeah, you can't play by yourself.
And
exactly.
And I think nowadays they make it very easy to play co-op, right?
Yes,
like, I know that again. Overwatch is the only one I'm going to use because that's a shooter with hero abilities, and that's, I mean, obviously you play with people all the time,
right?
So they have to make it very, very seamlessly. If not, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to work.
Right. But overall, I think okay, they ended it with the Redfall trailer, but then it was gameplay, which is good overall. As far as the content that was given here, it was solid for what it was. It was like 5 titles that were shown, but what we wanted, right, was gameplay. What we wanted was to see a lot of gameplay and at least a few release dates, which we got for Redfall, which was May 2nd, I think it was.
Yeah.
So we got the gameplay and we got the release dates, which is good, but still a lot of things missing, right? Like I didn't know what to expect from this. I thought this was going to be a full blown, hey guys, we are ready to show you what we have in store for the next year, and but I wanted it to be kind of like how they showed, and I talked about this in previous episodes, where this was going to be really, really intimate with the developers, them talking about their games and then them showing you gameplay similar to other conferences,
the Nintendo Direct kind of thing,
like a Nintendo Direct kind of thing, but more exclusively like how I did with the developers,
right?
But I just thought there was going to be more to it, and there were some things missing. Hellblade, we still don't know about Hellblade. I really wanted Ninja Theory to be here and talk about a little bit about where Hellblade is right now, but nothing about that. Obviously, we knew Starfield wasn't going to be here, but I don't know, something that we wanted to see in the future to kind of get us hyped, or at least be like, okay,
you wanted that
this
big
is going to be exciting. I wanted something
like
one
really
more, just
game.
that.
You wanted one big announcement. You wanted one big chungus,
and I think this would have been solid.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, they did temper expectations. They did say not to expect anything like that. So I do appreciate them saying that. Otherwise, I would have rated this even harsher than I really did.
Right.
And I think they already said like, E3 June, that big showcase. That's when we're going to show you the big stuff. They have to, right? I think it was Benji Sales. I believe he shared some stuff on Twitter about how this quarter, compared to last year's quarter, it's just been declining. The only thing that's gone up is Game Pass subscriber numbers, but they didn't even tell us what the numbers were.
Right.
Everything else, game sales, hardware sales, everything has gone down.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why that is. Like, I hate to say it. People say that the idea of exclusive games is bullshit. Games should be everywhere. But in reality, exclusives sell consoles. There's a reason Xbox wants to buy ActiveBliz, to have more exclusive under their belt.
Exactly.
100%. And that's a whole different conversation. But what I'm trying to say is, like, without really big exclusives, people are not going to buy your console. That's the reality of it.
100%. Yep. I think finally here, if you guys want to, we each want to go around and just kind of give this a grade. Also, if you guys want to watch a live reaction of the developer direct, these guys do it on their YouTube channel. So go ahead and check that out. But if you were to give a grade, what are you grading this direct?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
I was gonna say, like, should we use our scale?
Like letters?
we have a scale.
What scale do you guys have?
Yeah, what's your scale? Let's try your scale.
We use the completely not inspired by Platinum Games scale. Stone. It's literally stone, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum.
Okay, I like that.
So for this is definitely, for me, a silver. It is something that is, it felt mid in terms of like pacing. It's kind of like what you guys said that, Roberto, I think this is what you said, that once Hi-Fi Rush was presented, everything else kind of like slowed down a little bit. And I don't know, maybe if it had ended on that, maybe it would have been like a nice high note, and that would have been like the last thing.
A little pacing, a little different pace, like switch it out.
But I think that Redfall is something that they're very proud of.
Sure.
Either way, to me, it's a TGR silver.
Yeah, and I also give it a silver too. I think that a lot of these direct conferences, whatever, unless you're Nintendo actually has the fucking format like
down pat,
hands down.
Well, they invented it for the most part, right? They're the pioneers of it.
Right.
So.
They did. Yeah, they've been doing it for like 10 years. But like, a lot of these conferences or directs or showcases, they tend to have this issue of either starting off really strong or having like a really good middle, and at the end, just like they just kind of lose that steam. And that happened here. I definitely give it a silver, and I think that, like Rudy said, like yeah, if they would have left that for the end, that would have been a better way to cap it off, because Redfall is a big deal. I mean, I think this is the first Arcane game developed after the acquisition, right?
Correct.
So it's like, okay, we're putting our first foot forward. Like this is a direct result of that acquisition, essentially. We got to sell it, otherwise people are going to lose faith on the acquisition, and I don't think Xbox can have another Rare situation happening, because if you look at the output from Rare before the Xbox acquisition and after, it's a little scary. It's a little scary.
Yeah. I might have to agree with you guys. Silver to me might be a little too forgiving in my opinion.
That's fair.
Me and Kelvin are literally in the same exact spot where I'm right there with you, buddy.
And I think pacing might have something to do with it. I think, but then okay, say they did put higher what's it called, high five at the end. there was literally nothing. There was literally nothing from start to end that would really interest me besides that game. And then I know Redfall is their big, AAA title, but with how generic it looks and how they're not really, it doesn't look anything different than any other game that I've seen or played or done before. I just feel like nothing about it really, like, okay, you think of Arcane, you think of Dishonored, you think of games like that really stand out. They have like really cool concepts and like, oh, that's a really interesting style. They have like kind of like an art style to it, right? This I feel like doesn't have an art style to it. It's just like plain, but that's besides the point. I just think that they pacing could have been a little bit better, but also the content that was there, it was for a specific group of people and it wasn't really giving enough for the audience, in my opinion.
Right. 1 second.
Yeah, take your time. But I'll go ahead and say too, Kelv, I agree. I'm not giving this thing a silver. I think I'm going to actually go bronze, just because this is information we kind of knew already. We kind of knew what these games were about. We kind of know we've seen them. We saw gameplay of them. For example, like the Elder Scrolls thing online, like we didn't that I don't think that needed to be included. Like that was just like stuff like that. And I'm going into where I miss a spectacle of these things, and I kind of wish they didn't tell us what was being shown, because then I could be like, I can speculate and be super hyped. But then the fact that they said like, we're only telling you about these 5 things and that's it, and then there was a surprise, but it wasn't really enough to bring the whole thing up. I think that's what everyone wants in a show, right? In a direct type of show or any type of conference, they want a surprise, they want a big like trailer to something. And that's what gets people hyped. I mean, look at Sony's when they announced Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. Like that, we still talk about
that. Was so surprising. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what you need. You need stuff like that. Or Nintendo does it well because they're very scarce with their information. Like with Pokemon, we don't see Pokemon gameplay, and then they have a direct and they show Pokemon gameplay. Then people are tearing that apart and like talk about it forever. Same with Zelda. So I think Xbox. I'm glad they tried. I'm glad they tried. It's a good start.
Sure,
it's a good
start.
Yeah. But they should take things from Sony, Nintendo, and learn from them. But wasn't awful. I liked the little scribbles and the way they did it, and like they were doing it like kind of like the board. I think that was kind of cool. But I'm gonna play Hi-Fi Overdrive. Or what's Hi-Fi? Hi-Fi
Overdrive?
No. I don't know what it is.
High five, dude.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush, yeah. So
High five.
Yeah. And like instead of play, they started pretty badly too. I remember the very first day of play was pretty awful. But it was all up from there, and they haven't. Not everyone has been a banger either. But I know, like I remember one that stuck in my mind was when they showed us like more gameplay of Final Fantasy VII Remake after like 3 years of not getting any gameplay, and it was like, wow, okay, that like stuff like that is that's like what Kelvin said. Like, oh, if we would have seen like a little bit of gameplay from like Hellblade 2, like that would have been dope as shit. That would have blown the shit.
Dude, Perfect Dark.
Didn't PD restart development though? I think
did they? Something happened.
Same thing with Fable.
I think that one was debunked. There was one that was debunked recently that it was like, I forget which one it was.
It was one of the two.
But
I'll have to look
either
into
way,
it.
there's issues. There are issues happening at these studios, and it's worrying, because like these acquisitions are meant to give us a lot of games, and it's already been a couple of years. Like we're supposed to start seeing them at this point. Hellblade 2 for sure. Like I know they're putting a shit ton of effort. Like that game has to blow like minds, Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, my socks better come off. I better have fucking bare ass feet when I watch that.
As soon as you play, your socks just.
But segueing from what you said about these developers and what Xbox is doing, we're going to move on to news number 2 and news number 3. They kind of all tie into Xbox one way. So WoW is no longer going to be available in China based on a disagreement. So as of January 23rd, Blizzard game has shut down entirely in China. So that's WoW, Hearthstone, Diablo 3, Overwatch. There's no date as to when they'll come back online. The reason for this is because there was a partnership with Blizzard, with NetEase. It's a publisher that operates the Chinese versions of the game. They couldn't come to terms of renewal. There was just a disagreement. I don't know if it was funds or whatever. But NetEase has been publishing Blizzard games in China for over 14 years. And there's an estimated 3 million WoW players affected by this in China. So I know we were just talking about Xbox. Do you think the reason why they couldn't come to has something to do with Microsoft's acquisition of Blizzard to where they couldn't come to terms with this, or that this has nothing related to that?
I hadn't thought about that actually. I just thought it was like you said, like just
a disagreement.
Couldn't come up with the contract wasn't good enough for whatever party, and it just didn't work out. I hadn't thought about the acquisition being impacting, because you would think the acquisition would be better, right? Like, I mean, unless the acquisition is like Microsoft is like, no, we actually are going to be doing things differently in China. Perhaps maybe that's the issue. I never thought about that.
Just to pull a plug like that.
It's interesting because, like you said, 3 million players, right, are affected by this.
Man.
So who, like, from which side was that decided from?
Because that's a chunk of change, man.
That's a chunk of change.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
So
that's kind of crazy. Why would they even do that? And then
I don't know.
Interesting. I don't think this will last long. I think this is one of those things where, like, they're in a disagreement right now, but they're still working out the kinks, and they're still talking behind the scenes to figure out what way they can fix it. Similar to like the Fortnite and Apple issue, right? That's what comes to mind.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Even though I don't know if that's completely solved yet, but I know that they're still working.
I don't remember.
I forgot there was
a lot of news about that. Yeah.
I think there was like a workaround that Epic Games figured out that was browser based, because Apple doesn't control anything in the browser. It's just a store that they care about. I don't know. Je ne sais quoi.
I think it's funny that this is happening though, because it's just funny, right? If you know what's happened with Blizzard before and China, and
such a mess, bro,
and all that stuff, right? And it's like Blizzard essentially kissed ass, right? Didn't back their players, didn't back the people that mattered, and wanted to back money, and that's clearly biting them in the ass right now. Like this just falling off is like, ain't that ironic? It reminds me of that Family Guy movie where it's like irony.
Just for some wider context, with Blizzard and NetEase, all video games require a Chinese publisher and government licenses to operate in the region. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, has started paying increasingly close attention to the content of foreign titles. On top of that, in 2021, the CCP limited the amount of time children can spend playing games to 1 hour a day on Fridays, weekends, and holidays.
Wild.
Which
I remember that.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, and that's probably another part of it, right? Is the government. Maybe the government has something to do with this.
I mean, definitely, dude. And that's
WoW is not a game you play for an hour. It's
you can't do shit in an hour. I just recently just did a raid. It took me like an hour. I don't know, 14. So it's like, no, dude. It's I don't know. It's like I said. I just think it's really funny. I love Overwatch. I hate everything that's happened at Blizzard. I hate everything that's happened.
Yeah.
ever since they've just gone downhill when they merged with Activision, and then of course, like fucking Bobby Kotick and all these people.
All
Like
that,
I really wish that we lived in a world where you don't feel bad, right? Because I like Overwatch, I like playing Overwatch, but I can't help it. I'm a human being, and I think human rights come first over my entertainment. And every time that I play it, I'm like, damn, dude, I wish things were better. I really can't help it,
Yeah, and that takes you away from the experience of what you're trying to get, right?
It really does.
Right.
And in this particular case, I'm almost happy that this is happening. Sucks for the players in China, but I'm glad. I'm glad because I think companies need to have some goddamn repercussions.
Yeah, kick in the butt. Little reality check for sure.
Right. At the end of the day, they're still going to be a rich company. They're still going to have billions of dollars, but now they have less, right? And the people that are behind it, right, will not have those extra bonuses to throw to anti-human rights legislation and shit like that. That's how I see it.
100%.
So.
Yep, agreed.
So, with that, I kind of want to move on to another Xbox or Microsoft news piece. 343 Industries will continue to work on future Halo titles. So this was a statement released earlier this week. He said the Pierre Hintz, I think is his name. He released a statement because of all the layoffs that were happening in Microsoft and all these tech companies. It just said Halo and Master Chief are here to stay, and that was it. So they will continue to work on Halo. Halo won't be impacted in a sense, but I don't know. I feel like shit's crumbling down. Like shit is going bad for Microsoft right now in a sense. Like
not even just Microsoft, just like the whole tech industry. Like everybody's just getting laid off. And
this happens always in like the new in January. All of these companies do their financials and look at their fiscal years, and you're like,
exactly. It's very close to the end of that fiscal year.
Yeah. Right. So this happens. I know people like forget like this is crazy that all these layoffs are happening, but it literally happens every single year.
I feel like this has been a more like impactful year. I mean, at least in the
10,000 people at MS, for example, was a big chunk of
that's
people.
Huge.
10,000
like
people.
A lot of people.
It's a major. That's a huge number. And it's happening throughout the gaming industry, throughout the tech industry. Yeah. So I know it happens every year, but I feel like it's broadened since last year. Per se,
at the very least, I think more eyes are on it, especially in gaming because of the ActiBliz thing. Like it's like, and I get it. There's different bags of money for everything. You have your bag of money to pay your people, and you have your bag of money for investments. I get that. But it still doesn't fucking look good. You're trying to spend $70 billion, okay, and you let go of 10,000 people.
Right.
Like, it doesn't look good. I don't give a shit
or you could be the CEO of Apple and just take a pay cut.
And take a pay cut.
Then, 50 mil.
Look back to the late Satoru Iwata, right? What did Satoru Iwata do when the Wii U was failing to make money?
He took a pay cut.
He took a 50% pay cut for
he's still living good. He's still living good. Like he could afford it.
Well, he would have died, but
I'm saying at the time.
I got you. Yeah. Exactly. It's not even that, right? It's like I remember, like he made a press conference or whatever. He was like, "I'm doing this because I don't want to lose my devs. I don't want to fire people, and I don't want people to be afraid of losing their jobs. Because if you have people in that position, they're not gonna work well.
They're not going to perform. Exactly.
He was super content. Like, and this is one example of what being a good CEO is. Like, there's so many examples of him, like back in the day, like helping his team, like Pokemon Gold and Silver. Like those games have Kanto in them because he helped code Kanto into them. You know what I mean? Melee, like that game was able to release when it released because he helped with the coding. Like the dude obviously loved what he did. And I think that's the big difference here with a lot of these CEOs nowadays. Yeah, they don't really love what they do. They just like getting paid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about before we move on to the last thing here is, do we want 343 Industries to continue making Halo?
That's my thing, man. So like, okay, I'm gonna go from this because you guys, I'm assuming all of you all had 360s and Xboxes and all that. I did not. I binge played Halo 1 through 3 at my in-laws. My brother-in-law, he's an Xbox guy. Broad is 360, and I like freaking played all three that weekend. Amazing freaking game.
Yes.
Like I get Xbox Game Pass with the Master Chief Collection, and you know I play all of them again for memories.
Right.
And then I go ahead and I play 4, and
Different.
there is such a vast difference between that and like 5.
Right.
And like I haven't played the campaign for Infinite yet.
Did you play through 5 already? You got to play through 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
You beat-
But it's just like I don't know, man. Like I will say that it is kind of funny that the gaming industry got to the point to where 343 has to say that he's here. He's going to stay here. He's not going away, because at
We're
one point
still
people
gonna
were
develop.
thinking, yeah, because at one point people were thinking, yo, is this like the end of Master Chief? Like, is he no longer going to be the poster character for Xbox, the mascot for Xbox?
Right.
It's kind of crazy that that's even like a thing to even consider, you know. But
Like-
I don't want him to keep on going. I would rather give him to another studio
To
or
somebody
change
else.
the devs, yeah, or change, you know, the people that are in charge, like the directors and the producers, and just kind of like be like, okay, something in this does not vibe with the
I
community.
agree with you.
See, and that's my take. So I'm not a huge Halo fan, right? I've always been more Sony, kind of like invested in their ecosystem, right?
Right.
And so, but I've played Xbox. I love their games. Halo, I enjoyed, and now going into this one, right? When I played Halo Infinite, I'm like, okay, this feels like Halo. This feels like I've played previous Halos before. This feels great. What is it? And I'm asking you guys in particular, because you guys probably played more Halo than I have. What is it in particular that makes it that gives you a bad taste in this one? Because from what I look like from an outsider, it looks like they nailed the gameplay. They nailed the feel of Halo, right? Is it the lack of support post launch? And I think that's what it is, right? That's why people are really pissed off about it. But as far as the gameplay goes, as far as what they built, the story, I heard the story is phenomenal, or not phenomenal, but pretty good. Like, what is it about this game in particular that people don't want 343 Industries to continue Halo franchises?
Well, I think they kind of ruined the legacy of Halo in a sense. And when I say that is Halo in its core is always going to be that co-op experience. Like when a new Halo game drops, you want to go into a buddy with it and you want to play that campaign with them and enjoy it. That was missing here. We didn't get that. We got multiplayer first, right? And then we got kind of like we kind of got not a complete game in a sense when it came out. And Halo needs to be a complete game when it comes out. You want everything there. You want the campaign, you want your co-op, you want your multiplayer, you want Forge. That should all be standard with this franchise, right? And they didn't do that. And then they were biffing stuff up because the cosmetics were kind of like wacky, like the way up. Yeah, exactly. The battle pass was completely off.
Yep.
So they put too much. They put too many eggs in their basket, or they had their eggs in their basket with battle pass, and it didn't work out. I fucked that saying up so bad. Yeah. So basically, that's what I think it is. Is I think 343 Industry is kind of missing the point in a sense. Like they lack the soul of what Halo was.
Right.
Yeah. I see that. You putting it into perspective, I understand that the battle pass was off from day one when they announced that game. You saw the ramifications of them delaying the game, of just the first trailer that they showed. It looked really bad, right? So
you don't like Craig?
Craig, dude.
You know, the Craig guy, you know, the whole meme. It was funny when it came out. It was cool, but like you saw the ramifications. You saw the problems like from the beginning, you know. So
like Rob said, it's a thing with legacy, right? I'm not going to tell you the whole story. It's a very long story, but I've had an Xbox since the first Xbox, right? And I played Halo since the first Halo on release. Like for the second game, I got my my high school's news thing that was run by students to play a trailer for Halo 2 the day before it came out, and we got in trouble because the teachers were like, "Oh, why are you putting a game with guns?" Whatever. That's how much I loved Halo. Like I was invested in the games, in the comics, in the books, right? I was invested in the lore of the world. played and eventually once I was also like you. I was very much into the Sony ecosystem as well. After getting my PS2, PS3 as well. I still had a 360, but once I got my PS3 and I started getting back into that ecosystem, it was like I barely played my 360. But every time a Halo game came out, I was there at midnight to play those games.
Yep, you were
Halo
there.
3, ODST, Halo
Reach.
What was it? Reach. Those I love Halo, right? And like Rudy said, when I played Halo 4 for the first time, I was like, this feels off. There's something that's not, and it's the overall package. It's not just the mechanics. It's not just the story. It's not just the way it looks, because I actually like the way it looks. It has some Metroid Prime depths, and I love Metroid Prime.
So it's beautiful.
But it's like, it just felt off. And I still played it. Halo 5 came out, bought it day one, played it on my on an Xbox One, because I didn't have an Xbox One back then. But I played it because I was like, it's fucking Halo. Like, I gotta be here for a franchise I've loved since I was so young. And when Infinite came out, again, day one, played it, waited for the campaign, and I did not finish the campaign.
Wow. I didn't finish either.
And that hurts, because
but that tells you something.
Exactly. There's a video on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have heard of Crow B Cat. It's a YouTube channel. And he kind of just does he kind of like compiles a lot of shit that happens around a certain game and puts it in one big video, right? It's not dialogue, not an essay. It's just a bunch of shit. Like when Cyberpunk came out, it was like a 50-minute video of all the shit that happened on launch, right? When the Switch came out, it's just a bunch of stuff. Right. And for Halo Infinite, they did just a Halo video, and they showed everything from the beginning. How people were in love with Bungie's Halo, how Halo became this icon for Xbox, and how it is today. And I'm not gonna lie to you, usually their shit's just really funny. I got emotional. When that video ended, I was like, fuck, man. This really is the state of Halo. I recommend watching it. Even if you're like casually like Halo, just watch it just to kind of get a bit of that history. But man, it's sad. It really is. And I don't want to necessarily blame 343. I just think that it was pushed onto them. I think leadership was like, we need to keep Halo going. It's our big boy, right? Halo is our Mario. We need Master Chief out. And that's what we got.
So to answer your question, Rob, I think, in my opinion, I think 343 should probably take a step back and maybe have another developer try it out and see what new light they can shed into the Halo franchise. But who? That's another question. Who would it be?
So
would it be somebody from their studios, or would it be a third party?
No, there's an answer, and I think the answer is very, very clear here. Right?
Oh God.
I'm going to give you an example.
Oh God.
God of War. God of War 1, 2, 3 came out. Then we had God of War 2018.
They were all Santa Monica, right?
All Santa Monica, right? And they're all bangers, and they're all like they changed God of War, the format, because whatever
the direction. Yeah.
Bungie is the answer. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't think Halo will ever be as good as it was with Bungie, and the only people that Halo should live with is Bungie. I don't think Bungie should have ever let that franchise go, because I'm sorry, but just like God of War isn't. Imagine if God of War 2018 was not made by Santa Monica Studios. Can you imagine that? It'd be dog shit. I don't think it'd be great.
It'd be different.
I don't think it'd be good.
It'd be different. Right?
Yeah.
I think you mentioned Santa Monica. Maybe they can take this where have 2 or 3 studios dedicated to the Halo franchise, right? And keep cycling them, kind of like how they do with modern,
kind of like Call of Duty does,
right? But with Santa Monica, they always change their directors, right?
Yes, they did do that.
There's
but
always
it's
a
the same
director, same studio, but just a different director. That's
pretty much same team, really. It's
same
team.
Director,
but different eyes is what I'm trying to say. There's different eyes to it, and I think that's maybe that can help the franchise a little bit if they have 2 or 3 studios dedicated to the Halo franchise, but then have them completely separate in how they built the games, and maybe that can shed some light.
Maybe. But I think Rob made a good point, because like I think of another shooter that was very big during that time that was made by one studio, and they haven't made one since. And apparently the company tried to make it, and it wasn't panning well. And what did they do? They got the old studio to do the next entry, and that's Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 1 through 3 was Retro Studios. Nintendo tried to do it on their own, and they weren't happy with the results, so they had to restart development, and they got Retro Studios back. to do it.
It really depends, though. Yes, the studio's still there, but are the people that built that game still
Most of the talent
working
is
in
there.
it, you know?
Most of the big ones that made the big decisions in retro for Metroid Prime are not.
Okay.
And I think that might be an issue. Of course, retro does have all that original work.
Sure,
they own
sure.
all that stuff, so they can always look back and reference old stuff, right? But you're right. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same thing. Even with Bungie today, I know a lot of Bungie staff are still there.
Right.
Destiny speaks for itself, right? The shooting in Destiny, I don't care for Destiny, but the shooting is pretty fucking great.
I mean, look at Destiny in itself right now. Think of like all the DLCs they've come out with, and they're awesome. Every time you hear about them, people love the DLCs, and it has such a big community, and people are always going back to it. So they're doing something right over there. I know they are.
That's the reason why Sony paid money to keep the staff, because they didn't just buy the studio; they paid $10 million to keep staff. Which some staff weren't happy. Some staff were like, "This feels like we're kind of like in a little bit of a jail. We can't leave if we want to."
Right.
But they're doing it for a reason. They know what's valuable there, and it's the staff.
I'll say this to end this conversation.
Yeah.
Halo needs.
I swear to God, if you say, don't you fucking say that.
What do you say? What?
Halo needs battle royale.
Battle Royale.
No.
That's
no,
what it needs.
No.
To invigorate.
No.
Come on, guys, think about it, man. Obviously, you guys are not really huge battle royale.
I like
players,
Apex
but-
I actually like
Okay.
Apex Legends a lot. I played that a lot actually.
We just talk about going back to Bungie. It needs to go back to its roots. And you're like, battle royale. That's
It's
that's what it needs.
dude.
A BR mode might be
honestly,
fun.
It would be really cool, man. It would really bring back a lot of people. That's just me, man.
But
But,
it's like
I think
like Halo. The thing about Halo is that it's a game of well, I've always seen it as a game of threes, right? It used to be where it's like you have three things you have to focus on, right? It's you shoot, you melee, you grenade. That's like the big combo of Halo. And how do you take that repetitive like nature of like, okay, you got to remember the combo, you got to remember the scenery and stuff. You die once and it's over. That's gonna be rough. You could do it like Warzone does, right?
Sure,
I played
sure.
Warzone as well. You can kind of like get rest, maybe have like one rest, and your teammates can help you, whatever. It could work. It doesn't sound like Halo, but maybe
at this point it's not working. Halo isn't working right now. If they change it up and bring more life into it, I think it could work, man. But obviously it won't work if 343 is doing it. Their post content right now is garbage. So obviously supporting a battle royale is not going to work for them.
It sucks. It sucks that
just not
Halo is
gonna
in this
work,
condition,
but-
man. It's like
Yeah.
I have some of my fondest memories of my first online gaming was with Halo 2, and it's like, fuck, this is what we have now. It sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
I think what they need to do is kind of like at least to save it for right now. What they can do, put a band-aid, come out with a stellar single player campaign
DLC.
story, and kind of like what ODST was in a sense.
Yeah,
like
ODST
that was so good. Reach story incredible. Just focus on a side mission or something like that. It just hones in on the lore and the story, and has like very cool set pieces, so where you can kind of like forget about like what's happening right now in the multiplayer space with the Battles Pass, and make people remember like, oh my god, this is Halo. This is what I remember. That's how I think they fix it, but I don't know.
Yeah, Infinite was a good direction for the campaign. I think I actually did enjoy my time with it. It was just
It's too much.
I
don't
got
want the
to
open world.
there was this point in it where it felt tedious to get to the next three objective. I was like, this is really annoying. I don't at this point I don't want to have to travel this whole ass, like give me a honestly, I wanted linearity. I wanted it to tell me like just go here, just go just there right now.
Sometimes you just want that, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So enough about Halo, guys, and 343 and Xbox. I'm done talking about Xbox. We're done.
Yeah.
We're good for another like month with them. Lastly, before we talk about you guys, I know, Rudy, you've played Forspoken, right?
Yes.
And we have a bunch of reviews that were shown and released, and just a quick roundup of the reviews. GameStop gave it a 5 out of 10. Game Informer gave it a 75 out of 100. IGN 6 out of 10. Sans these reviews, I want to hear it from you first.
Okay.
What do you think of the game?
I think, first off, visually, like everything that was seen on Twitter, it was boxy garbage on Twitter because of the compression. Actually having it rendering like full time in front of me, it looks really good.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Secondly, the voice acting and the direction of the voice acting and the overall just script, I'm okay with it. Like the way that I see it is that it's this girl, she's in her teens, she's
21.
you know, huh?
She's 21. Yeah.
Oh, she is 21.
Yeah, she's 21. Yeah.
Oh well, shit.
Like,
Fuck me.
wow.
Well, that changes my perspective. Never mind.
That changes- fuck it, the story's
I mean,
garbage.
dude,
Yeah, download it right now.
we're idiots. We were 21. What?
Yeah.
I mean, I was an idiot in my 20s too. Like,
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I
right
think
now,
everyone
man.
was. Yeah, everyone,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
like Onyx, we've done stupid things. But no, what I'm saying is that like the overall like presence and the way that she like behaves and interacts, like I'm just like, yeah, I would probably say, oh shit, what the fuck is happening with my hand? Like what is going, like I would say the same shit because I am a human being. And I think that they tried to kind of like encompass that in an actual character. I think Chai Tea is a little bit cooler so far, but I'm only like, a couple of hours into the game myself. I just like got into Athia, I believe is how it's pronounced, and the parkour. Like I haven't unlocked the actual magical abilities of moving through it. But when I was in New York and I was experiencing it through there, like it felt good. It didn't feel as good as like, let's say, Ghost Runner or Mirror's Edge in terms of like parkour. I think those games did a much better job. But we'll see. Based off of what Gene Park said in his tweet, like it gets really good on the tail end, and that's kind of that to me like is sad because you would want to have something like a steady progression as you're going through a game. And I am a firm believer of like reviews. That's fine. If there's something that is interesting me, I'm going to check it out myself and formulate my own opinion. I did the same thing with Callisto Protocol. Like that.
That's another hot one. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was the same thing. Like it came out and people were like, "Oh my god, like this is garbage," blah blah blah. And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna check it out for myself." That's a solid.
Even less though. Like Callisto Protocol got a lot of shit, but I feel like Forspoken's hate train has been way overblown.
I think people have been, myself included. I think people have been overly harsh with that game for no apparent reason. I think because it's not a spectacle, it's not a God of War or Elden Ring. People are like, it sucks. What is this garbage? Yeah.
I think there's, there's potentially a lot of reasons why this game is getting a lot of shit. I don't want to get too much into it because, there's nothing concrete, right? This is just stuff that I kind of like. I look, I observe, I kind of see what people are saying, and it's like, I don't get why, but you can look at certain things and see it, right? And again, this is nothing concrete. This is just my own thoughts. This is just things that I observe online. But I really do think that the character that we have in Forspoken is not a character we see very often, and I think that puts people off of their comfort zone, and people that are used to a certain kind of character. Seeing a very different character speaking things that another character would say might be weird. It may make them notice it a little more. It make them feel a little bit more awkward by hearing them cuss so much and say these things in a certain way. And it's like, well, Nathan Drake said shit like this, but that's Nathan Drake. Who the fuck is this person? You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, and again, I hate it because I think the dialogue isn't great. I think the dialogue is serviceable just as much as an MCU movie is serviceable. Just as much as High on Life
Square Enix in general is just not great when it comes to dialogue. Like, have you played a Final Fantasy game? Sometimes they say the weirdest, they say some dumb stuff. Like, you're just like, this doesn't make sense.
This, like 7 Remake had some of the best dialogue because that's the newest Final Fantasy game with the modern sensibilities. So we'll see how 16 does. But I just think that it's been overblown because of what we were given as a main character. I really, really think so. I think people were more honed in on what we were seeing and what we were hearing than usual. Because High on Life, yes, there were some people that were like, "Oh my god, this game is so like
over the top.
It's over the top, whatever." But
No,
there
it
was a
beautiful.
big crowd of people
beautiful,
like saying that it was amazing,
It's
saying that it was super like underrated
Dude,
and
it's fucking
shit.
great.
Yeah.
Like you gotta understand, man. Like I played High on Life, and I went in, like I streamed it on the Gaming Resumes Twitch channel. I was like, I don't know what I'm getting into. I've never seen Rick and Morty, but let's fucking go. And like I was having such a good time, man. Like the jokes were landing, they were really well written, and like yeah, sure there's some profanity, but whatever. Who gives a shit? Like it was in there. Like it was just so well done, and like
but nobody said shit about the dialogue. I feel like some people did complain about the dialogue in High on Life.
Sure.
But like there is some stupid dialogue. There is some genuinely dumb shit. Like there's some moments that are really funny. There's some moments that
in
are
High on
Life. Yeah.
I'm sure, but dude, I take it all as a joke. It like,
but that's what I'm trying to say.
There's literally faces on the guns that talk to you. Like, yeah, it's gonna be stupid.
Stupid as shit. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Like both games were reviewed poorly. They were in the 60s. Both games have less than stellar dialogue, yet I saw way more hate for one. Right.
Understood.
And it just happens to be the one with the character that is not seen very often. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's
I totally see where I totally go. Like I get it, and it sucks that even has to like be a thing.
It does.
Like,
it does because Square Enix might be like, we never want to do this again. Why are we gonna make a game like this when it's gonna flop and nobody's gonna like it and buy it and talk shit about it? You get what I'm saying?
I think a lot of it too. Kelf, you continue. Sorry, cut you off.
No, go for it. No,
I was gonna say I think a lot of it has to do with the marketing too of this game. I think Sony did a bad job with being like, this is like a AAA exclusive title, and we're like really pushing the PS5, and it's gonna be the next best Sony great title. And they kept doing that, and people had this like, it was like putting it on pedestal in a sense, right? Like this game is just like you expect that type of like.
I mean that first showing, dude, that shit looked incredible.
Was phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, it was just Project Athia. They said like Square Enix was like, yo, Luminous Productions, show me what you can do, and they were like, okay, here, crazy graphics, craziest effects, and it's like the same shit happened with 15, versus 13. We had a specific vision, and that vision slowly unraveled into what we got. And 15 isn't a bad game by any means. It's just
not what we saw, right? Not what we were fed or marketed, right? And that's a problem. I think it was a big mishap on Sony's end and on their marketing to what we were expecting out of this game. And I think they kind of should have like toned it down a little bit, maybe show less of it, like more is less in this sense. And then when you pick up the game, people are interested to be like, oh, this is kind of cool. I like that I can move around and do all this stuff. But
quick question: did you guys download the demo and play it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I put like 5 hours into that demo, dude. I liked it a lot, actually.
Because, like, I only played like 30 minutes of it, and I was like, yo, this is cool. Like, I could see this being like a really cool thing. And I saw people on Twitter being like, the demo did a really bad job of explaining the game's actual mechanics.
Yes.
There were a lot of things that you could do that just you wouldn't have figured out unless you actually experimented and spent a lot of time playing the demo. Right. I think that along with the character and the characterization and everything like that's there that Onix mentioned, like that just threw everybody off. And like it's just a mob mentality kind of like came in onto the game, because guys, I'll be honest with you, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, and that's cool. Like, that's okay, man. Like that's the thing. This game got a lot of criticism, and I think from the very beginning there was a certain part where there was a conference going on, or not a conference, like behind the scenes look into the game, and I think one of the developers said something that was kind of off-putting to a lot of the journalists there, calling it kind of like she has like a hip-hoppy feel, and that kind of really brought a lot of attention to it there, and it just kind of stirred the pot there, and it kind of went from there.
That sucks, because I can see that like playing the game at her character, like one of the parts, spoiler alert for like the first 10 minutes, she like literally goes up to like her favorite shoes, and she's just like, I could stare at you all day. I have no love for shoes like that, but there are people that will drop a fat wad of cash to grab some Jordans that were released like years ago, and that typically aligns with people that are into hip hop. Right. And like I could see where like somebody that is a developer, I'm sorry,
Skaters too, like
And
SP
skaters
dunks
too.
are like really big.
Like Vans that are like freaking, ridiculously rare. But like, I could see somebody that is not in that, but trying to create a character within that, try to explain that to a group of journalists, and definitely not nail what they're doing because they're talking about something that they don't necessarily live in, so to speak.
Correct.
It's, dude, it's
a fine line to walk. Yeah, 100%. I get it. I just think they failed in a lot of aspects as far as the marketing goes, like Rob said, as far as like how they introduced this game. The nail in the coffin, in my opinion, was the demo. Once the demo hit and people got a chance to play it, they're like, yeah, this just doesn't, like, they just tore it apart, essentially. And so it's unfortunate because I was really looking forward to playing this game. It looked really cool in the beginning, but the more I saw, and even in the trailers, Rob, we kind of dissected it ourselves. We're like, there's something off about this
game. There's something. Yeah, it reeks of something.
Dialogue aside, though,
yeah,
the audio, like the lip syncing, just was off a little bit.
Yeah.
The character models looked a little bit. It felt like you were really digging into the nits and grits. But overall, people are having fun to it. I feel like there is going to be a following for this game,
like a
small
cult
one.
classic.
100%, 100%.
Maybe not even a classic. Maybe just a cult game.
Yeah,
I genuinely, I think I'm expecting, like, I'm gonna play it, and I'm expecting to just have an okay game. I'm not expecting it to like be genuinely good, right? Because I think a game has to. It's the overall package, right? Even if the ending is good,
like a unique experience for you.
You're being facetious right now.
Somewhat. He's known for having unique tastes, but no, seriously, like, do you think that, because like there are some games like A Plague Tale Requiem that I haven't played, but A Plague Tale Innocence that I recommended to Onix, and I was like, dude, like, the story is what's impactful, not the gameplay. The gameplay is like mid, in my opinion. And like, but it's the story and like the acting and everything, the visuals, that I was like, this is a great game. Just mechanically speaking, it's not going to be top tier, in my opinion. Do you think that that's what's going to happen in your experience with Forspoken, Onix?
Probably, and this is the thing though. Like, I think the story is probably going to be average, but what I liked was the mechanics. Right, when I started experimenting with the demo. How to, like, keep your stamina from depleting when you like do your boost and stuff, or how to like climb walls and jump around and do those attacks. Like, it felt good. It didn't have a lot of impact, kind of like 15 did, but it still felt really good. So I think it's a game where I probably would enjoy the mechanics more than the story. And I tend to enjoy those games more unless the story is a big like part of it, like Horizon. Like, this may be controversial, but I didn't really enjoy the first Horizon very much at all. I dropped it because I played Breath of the Wild first, and that game blew my mind. So I dropped Horizon.
Many other people,
Yes, I don't think that's very controversial. I think everyone has the same feeling towards Horizon.
Right. But I dropped it, and then I didn't pick it up again till 2017. Or no, I lied, till 2022, till last year.
That's what I did.
I was gonna say
because it came out in 2017. Right. I didn't pick it up till last year because of Forbidden West. I was like, this game looks better. I finally finished the first one, and I'm like, I still have no interest in playing the second, so I'm probably not. But it has good gameplay, that's what I'm trying to say. The story didn't captivate me. The lore and the backstory and shit was super interesting, and the gameplay was great. I did not care about Aloy as a character, and I did not care about what was happening at the moment. It was just boring. I was really boring. So,
she felt very like flat as like a character,
one-dimensional,
like
dude.
One-dimensional, dude.
But then you compare a character like Aloy compared to what's her name, the character in Forspoken, Frey. So you're like, people are ripping apart this character because she's too outgoing or saying all this stuff, but then
too quippy and shit.
Yeah, you have Aloy. It's just like very.
Don't get me wrong. We heard a lot of criticism about her quips too when Horizon first came out, but like it wasn't to this level of like
not even close.
Ripping apart, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, moral of the story is, guys, buy the games that you enjoy. Don't
play what you want.
Yeah, play what you want. If it looks cool, just pick it up and play it. Don't. Correct. That's the thing. That's the problem with the reviews is they tend to be sometimes, this game's bad. Oh, yeah, we're gonna say this game's bad. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for going through the news of the week for us. I know it was a very long-winded news week. I mean, like I said, we had a lot of Xbox stuff. I really wanted. Yeah. So, what I want to do is get into in-game chat where we just talk about you and talk about your adventure and how you got here and what is the gaming resume and who is Rudy, who is Onix. So let's go into that. So I guess number one question I want to ask is, how do you two know each other, and how did you start the gaming resume?
You wanna handle this?
Sure. I'll
The
keep
floor is
keep
yours, guys.
I'll keep it nice and simple. We met in 2005, I want to say, or 06, one of the two. We were both working at SeaWorld, which, if you guys don't know, SeaWorld is a theme park with whales. And we went there. I think we met or we started talking either because of a game or because of a car conversation. I believe it was cars, right?
I think it was cars, man. We were talking about Acura and Tigres and stuff, and yeah.
And then we just kind of hit it off. We started talking about that stuff, and we became.
I'm sorry, but I'm imagining you guys talking when you're telling the story. You're both in wetsuits, by the way.
No. Okay, we worked in
That
the
is
games
100%
department.
accurate. No, we worked in games. It was like we wore like these like super bright orange and
Nice.
purple and teal like coral shirts. It was
Right.
it was
It
the
was a
sexiest
weird
thing
design.
ever, man.
Totally. So we met there, and we just kind of became friends. And we also we actually had a crew of people that we were like close with. We like just hung out, parties. Like we had a lot of international like students come and like stay there for like a couple months, and we would like hang out with them, go drinking, partying at their places and stuff. A lot of fun. But we met a guy named Sean. He was also part of our crew, and Sean, Rudy, and I were essentially like the big nerds. We talked a lot of games. We talked a lot of like anime and movies and stuff. So we kind of kept that going. And then in like 2017, Sean decided to start his own channel, which was the Gaming Resume. He's worked in corporate offices. That's kind of where he got the idea for the Gaming Resume. It was a resume. So everything was like based around offices, right? Like the shows were called like white papers, which is what they do to like review stuff. Like it was just all themed around like an office space.
Right.
And he invited us on. And then when we started doing the podcasting, if you will, we just kind of became members. He was like, bring us in. We also had a fourth guy, Matt, who ended up leaving the channel. And then it was just me, Rudy, and Sean for a couple of years. Started doing reactions, started doing unique content too. We had like, what were they called? The Hall of Fame. What did we call it?
Oh, oh my God, this is gonna kill me.
Full game conference. No, team building exercises.
One of them, that was our podcast, but we
didn't do many. I think we did like one, dude, and it was such a good format, but we only did one, maybe two.
I think we did 2 or 3 of them, but I'm gonna look it up now.
Yeah, look it up.
It
Either way,
really
it was a Hall of Fame format. We kind of like voted a game in and whatever. Really fun. So we had like unique content like that, but what kept the channel really growing was reactions. So we kind of started focusing on that, and then in 2019, Sean left. He wanted to take more time with his family and stuff, and kind of do his own endeavors, which happened. And then it's been me and Rudy since. We experimented a lot. We tried a lot of different things. We started streaming on YouTube exclusively. Then we moved to Twitch, and then we did kind of like both. We tried to like do weekly videos, sometimes 2 videos a week. We tried so much, right? Yeah. With this channel to kind of grow and make it our thing. And here we are today. We're focused on reactions right now. And like you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, we do have our own unique channels because of the fact that every time we try to do something new, our audience was just not about it. Right. Really? There were some people that really liked it, but a lot of our audience, it's not that great. It's not a huge number. We have like 13,000 subscribers, and every time
chump change,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have what, 280, so 290.
Yeah.
But it's like when you have that number and you create a video, you expect at least 10, 20%.
Yeah, like right. Your average, what you're used to, right?
And dude, me and Rudy, we would do these videos. Like I remember I edited a video essay on The Last Guardian. It took me months. I wasn't very good at editing. I was still learning the process. So it took me a long time to put the shit together to my vision. And it got like 600 views, and we knew like we can't keep doing this. And that's kind of why we have our own little ventures on our side, because let's put those ideas and those visions into a second channel that actually has a chance of growing for that versus wasting our time,
Right.
But the Gaming Resume, like I said, it's definitely like we talked about earlier. It's a community. It's a hub. It's a place where we can just geek out, really enjoy gaming, talk about it, and just, you know, when these reactions come around, these live conferences, we really do enjoy them a lot. So that's what it is today.
Nice.
Ditto.
You guys,
like,
go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, man, like, you know, he pretty much nailed it. Like that is YouTube is, without getting like too deep into like YouTube is like a lot of experimentation.
Yeah.
A lot of experimentation. And we saw what was working for us. So we just kept on doing it.
That's
We
what
just,
you gotta do.
you know, we saw that reactions were the things that were bringing in views. So we were like, all right, that's what we're going to do. And little did we know that, like, yeah, we got views, we got subscribers, but what they wanted to see was reactions.
Right.
So whenever we did
Right.
anything that wasn't a reaction, it just, you know, YouTube
Just
will serve that video to those people first, your subscribers. And if that base doesn't like it, then YouTube will say, well, these are the people that like really like these people because they subscribe to them. If they don't like it, the chances are no one else likes it.
Why should we show
Right.
it to anybody else? Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
you guys remind me a lot about our kind of beginning stages of this podcast, where we started off kind of YouTube focused and then just focused more so on the podcast itself, but we did a lot of experimenting. Like we still till this day are experimenting on things, on thumbnails, and, you know, what is the best titles, CEOs, like all those good things. But it's hard. It is a very hard and complex algorithm,
man.
you know.
Very much. Very much.
You kind of have to find your niche within YouTube. You can't just, like, if you go too much, like you start doing too many things, like you said, it picks up on that, and they're like, nah, stop. It slaps you, like, no, don't do that.
Right. No, yeah. And it's one of my bigger fears, man, because, like, so my second channel, right, it's just Onix F, right? It's my last name is Francis
Onyx
Chini,
F.
so it's F. And I like anime a lot, and I like gaming, so I wanted to. I figured I'm going to make videos for people that like talking about anime and games.
Right.
And only one video I would say has been successful. Right. It's a very personal video on my experience with Hunter x Hunter and depression. But you know, it's a love letter. It's a love letter as well as a story that I wanted to tell, and it was doing gangbusters, and then it just stopped. Like impressions hit over 500,000. It was like 500,000 impressions, and then it just stopped out of nowhere, and it hasn't recovered since. Right. And I remember, like, the day before, it was like I was still getting comments, subscribers, likes. Like, it was just the numbers were there. It was like, okay, this is working. This is gonna continue getting me numbers, and I like this. This is what I wanted. But then it stopped, and I could not figure it out. Me and Rudy talked about it, like, dude, look at my numbers. What do you think? And it was like we just couldn't figure it out. Because, you know, the little views that I get, I still get comments, I still get subscribers. It's just at a you know, such a small rate compared to what it was before.
Do you think it's just kind of like a trickle effect, or it's like hitting the right place at the right time, and YouTube's just pushing it out, and then all of a sudden it's just like, nah, we're just gonna pull it out because we don't think
it definitely. I mean, again, it was on a Hunter x Hunter, right, that anime series, and it was like at the time the manga had returned, so it was kind of like being talked about, which I believe helped. But it also was right before the December, like, YouTube month, where, like, you know, in December, YouTube pushes out so much content from so many other creators that, like, impressions are like almost geared towards the big ones, because we know YouTube, like, knows, like, yo, these people really bring in numbers, you know.
Right.
So and again, this is all hearsay. We don't really know this is what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But the matter of fact is that in December, that's where CPM is the highest for YouTube, and a lot of people post a lot of content in December to make money, you know. Like, there's like people that are vloggers, they have Vlogmas every single day. They release a video. 20, you know, that's 30 days of videos daily.
Jeez.
You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there's gonna be some sort of bias towards those people, dude. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's not guaranteed.
right.
It's not 100% confirmed, obviously, but I don't know.
I think at the end of the day too, man, I think what you're saying is, like, that video that you did with the Hunter x Hunter, like you said, it's a love letter almost to it, right? Regardless of the views, how it performed, I think you could say that you poured your heart into it and you love that video regardless, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what that shows in the content too, is like when you do something like that and you're just like, I don't expect this to blow up because I'm just doing it because I love it, you know.
Right.
And sometimes it works out. Sometimes YouTube picks up on that. So
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think we are on the same boat because we've made videos that don't particularly pertain to the podcast. We've made videos that are like, what are the best or like the top PlayStation, consoles or whatever. And those are still till this day, like making numbers. Like we have, nothing crazy, but it's like 5,000 views or something, which is like crazy for us,
people
right?
like top tens, dude. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
People
man.
like lists.
Yeah.
So that's the next video I got to do.
Watch
Thanks,
Mojo,
guys.
motherfucker. Like, what do you think? Watch Mojo has like 10 channels of different lists.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And so,
man, like,
but it's not
crazy.
really our bread and butter. Like that's not like we want to do those things, but are we going to consistently do those things? Probably not, because what we're dedicated to, what we're focused on is the podcast, and we want to just talk about video games and do all that stuff. And there's a fine line of like, all right, well, I like to do this. I want to do this. I love doing this, but am I going to do this because I enjoy it, or am I doing this just for the views, for the recognition and all
That's
that
the
stuff?
hard part, man. That's the hard part. When does it become a hobby, or when does it go from a hobby to
work,
a business venture? Right, exactly, to work. And that's a very, very fine line. And like I told Rudy before, it's very scary because I don't just want to create one type of content. I do want to create. There's other creators out there that have done it. They did it a lot earlier than I did, obviously, and that helps having that base. But if I were to tell myself like, okay, hey, you can be successful, but you can literally only create videos on Hunter x Hunter, I'm not going to do it. As much as I love it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Exactly.
You're going to run out of content eventually that you can make. Because like there's only so many directions that you can approach the same thing. My channel is like totally different than Onix's, because like he wanted to do like video essays on games and anime, and I am a lover of tech. I've always been a lover of tech, but I also love video games because that just falls in line with tech. And like for me, I've always, like, the way that I watch YouTube is different than other people. Like I use it for educational purposes, but also like ways that I could like manage my time better, or like do things faster, editing, as well as other things. But like the way that my channel is just tech and gaming. There's videos that I've done that have 100,000 views, and there's some that have like 100 views. It's like the way that I see it is that what the hell was it? The guy's name is Ali Abdal. He's a productivity YouTuber, but he always has at the end of the year like a very honest and open, this is how much money I made this year, this is all my sources of revenue, this is how we got everything, and these are the things that I've learned. And one of the things that he always says, well, I don't want to say always, but a couple of years ago when I discovered the channel, he was like, only like a handful of videos. We put out 190 some odd videos this year, and he's got a team and everything, but only a handful actually carried the channel. And that to me like signifies, okay, then so I just have to keep on creating content. Maybe one will strike gold, and the YouTube algo or the audience will look at it and be like, hey, this is nice, I like this. But what I've noticed is the same thing that happened with Onix. I had a video that like did really well and got like around 1 million impressions, and then it just kind of like slowed down exponentially. And I think that that's YouTube kind of like looking at it and saying, hey, here is let's feed this to this specific audience, and as that audience expands and the reach of that video expands, it's going to start trying to present that video to people that may not be 100% interested in a fucking Steam Deck versus Nintendo Switch, but they'll be like, I'll check it out. Or they'll be like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I don't want to see this shit. Fuck that. Don't show it to me again, YouTube. But no, dude, like, I think, the gaming resume, we've poured almost 6 years into our life, or of our life into the channel.
So wild to me. Yeah.
Dude, but I fucking love it. Like, I was talking to my wife about it. It's like, where would we be today if we hadn't experienced that?
Right. It's part of your identity now at this point. Like if you stopped, you'd feel weird about it. You'd be like, I feel
something's missing.
Yeah, it's part of your routine. It's part of your life now, and you can't just cut that off because that's that's who you are. It's become your identity, and that's
right.
I think.
Do you guys feel that way with the Gaming Duo podcast?
No, just kidding.
No,
100%.
Yeah, no. We had.
bro.
I think me and Kelvin had a little like ultimatum point where we I don't know if you guys go through it, but we arguments and that kind of stuff happens and stuff like that. But
yeah, we fight all the time, man.
yeah, exactly. You bicker and you
take off the gloves and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You get the chocolate.
You tell me not to have Dunkin' Donuts one more time, motherfucker.
I'm gonna stuff a freaking Krispy Kreme donut in your mouth.
Wait, actually, hold on. Actually, you want that?
But yeah, and I think what saved us or what happened was we said, okay, could we live or not live? Well, obviously we would live, wouldn't die, but
sure we'll live.
Yeah, but is it weird if we stop? Like, would that feel? Could you live with that in a sense? Like, would that be okay? And we both were like, no, that'd be too fucking weird. Absolutely not. And then that's it. We continued. We trucked through. And here we are.
It's still a hurdle that we're going through, right? There's still a lot of things that we want to accomplish, things that we want to change, things that we want to like break through, right? But it comes with time, it comes with experience, and it comes with just passion, right? Like if you have a passion for something that you do, whether you're making 1 million views or 100 views, you're still loving what you do, right? And so that's where we're at, I think. And we enjoy what we do. We love talking about the gaming industry. We love talking about the gaming news, and we love having guests like yourselves here and just talking about stuff like that, because part of why we made this, and I'm making it about us, but it's about you guys. But I'll circle back. Part of why we do this is because we want to build a community such as yourselves. We want to build a community that loves talking about video games, and then come in our channel, talk about stuff, and just have a great time, and that's originally why we built this, right? We built this because Rob and I love to talk about games, and let's do it with a bunch of people that we love to talk about games with, so yeah, it's definitely an experience. To circle back to you guys though, you guys talked a lot about what you guys did to kind of branch out into individual channels, but as far as the gaming resume, what would you do to change anything that you would change in the gaming resume right now, that if you had an opportunity to, you would?
Right, like because like funnily enough, at the beginning of this year we said we're going to change the direction of the channel, right? Last year was a big experimental year, like the last couple of years. And this year was like, okay, you know what? We're going to do our own separate channels for the content we want to make that we know it's not going to work in TGR. So let's niche down as much as possible for TGR. It's essentially a reaction channel right now. That's it. We're that, and of course the streams that we do like on Twitch. The only thing that I would change is not really what we're doing now, but more from the past. I would have. I mean, if I knew what I know now about YouTube, dude, like I would have told me, Rudy, and Sean, like, hey, this moment right now, like, not even that. No, I actually would say like the opposite. I would say like, let's not do that many reactions. Let's focus on the content we want to make now, because reactions got us the numbers we wanted, but it got us to reactions only, and we do enjoy doing reactions, but I don't want to only react.
Gotcha. You like pigeon your whole selves in a sense.
That's
like,
exactly it. We weren't feeling like, I mean, I feel like we weren't feeling like fulfilled, right, with the creative process, because like Rudy says, he wanted to talk about the tech aspect of gaming, and those videos weren't doing well, and I wanted to talk about the other aspects, like the writing, like the development side of things, like talk about the history of stuff, and those weren't doing well. So like,
did that happen? So when you guys decided, like, Rudy, hey, I want to talk about tech stuff, and you're like, and then Onix, you're like, hey, I want to talk about like just the deep dives of video games and stuff like that. Did you guys ever clash, or like did you guys were like, no, like you guys kind of like went back and forth, like, no, this isn't the vision of the channel? We
really
have that
only
conversation?
clashed like when we were talking about, because we were going to make a second TGR channel. We were going to put both of those videos on there, and the only time we clashed was, I mean, if you want to call it a clash, was like, oh, I want to make video essays, oh, I want to make tech content. I was like, that's not gonna work.
It's two different things.
We can't put that on one channel. That's the only time, because we tried doing that with TGR. Like, we just threw everything at the wall, dude. We were literally reactions. We were doing our own videos, like the live streams, like,
We were doing
right.
everything.
Rudy was doing the news
I
segment. Yeah,
I would stream on Twitch 3 times a week, and
Christ of
for an
God.
hour and a half,
Ugh.
and it was called Coffee with Rudy, and I would grab like
Sounds
segments
great,
from
though.
that. Oh, dude, it was fucking great. But we would,
It really was. But I was a
It
fan
was
of the
fun.
segment. I genuinely
it was
was a fan.
so much fun. But like the thing is that like with a full-time job,
Yeah.
I can't.
It's just not feasible.
I don't know how you even manage 3 times. A
I
week,
lost
dude.
my hair, man. Like,
Oh,
it was horrible.
I remember telling Rudy, I'm like, dude, I know you want to do
You
this,
heard
man,
it here
but,
first.
Like,
That's
dude,
how I
like,
lost it.
please. I was like, dude, please stop. Like,
Yeah.
stop, man. I
Like,
was
I
telling him,
wanted-
like, you're doing too much, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Seriously, I felt like I was doing a lot, and I did that for what, like 3 months, and then
It was like
like
3
in
months,
in March of that year, I was like, I gotta
you
like
were
take a
so
break.
burnt out, dude.
I was
Yeah.
burnt out.
Yeah.
Like, and it was the first time in 4 or 5 years that I actually felt it, where I was like, I need to like step away because
Yeah,
I'm
take a
feeling
break from
exhausted, feeling irritated. And
Yeah.
it wasn't even the fact that it wasn't a creative process that I couldn't do. It was just physically exhausting. And it's kind of like what we mentioned earlier, that it went from a hobby that was fun to a job.
Right.
And like,
And it wasn't even paying off. That's the hard
No.
part. Like,
yeah,
our
yeah,
audience
and you're not
liked it,
excited
like-
to go into and do that. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I gotta go do this
dude,
now.
because like
and- yeah.
the main core, like if you see a chat like Regner saying like Coffee was amazing, unsustainable, we had people that really enjoyed it, right? But we just can't sustain what we want to do with 10 people, 20 people. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't work that way. We need 100,000 people watching these videos
Right.
for us, both of us, to
Mhm.
replace our jobs and say like, hey,
Right.
we can do this full time.
Full
Right? 'Cause
time.
it's both of us, dude. Like we have 2 lives. I have 3 kids. I have a family, right? Rudy has his family. Like we can't live off of 20 views, 100 views, 300 views.
Right.
We genuinely would need hundreds of thousands of views per video, and that just
Right.
was not going to happen.
Right.
Truly.
Yep. So I would stream it, grab little segments. I would cover a couple of stories, and whichever one like I was like, yo, this is money.
This is
This is
good.
I would
fire.
chop
Yeah.
it up. I would like do like a quick edit, get like some cheesy ass like generic thumbnail, and I would post it online. And like, dude, it worked. Like we'd get
I remember
like a
the
couple
Sora
thousand
one, dude.
views.
Remember the
The
Sora
Sora
one?
one. Oh my god, so much
Oh
hate.
God.
Like
He
because
was
I was
like-
like, it was a 4chan.
What did
leak.
you? Oh
I was
God.
like, there's
It
no
was a Smash
fucking
Bros.
way
leak.
this
It was a
Sora's
Smash
gonna
Bros.
be.
leak. Like
Anything
Sora was gonna
Smash
be-
Smash,
related,
bro, they
dude,
hate it.
blows, dude. It just
People get so
it
mad.
skyrockets.
I
like
think our
views-wise.
one of our I think our top 5 or top 10 is the Joker reaction from the Game Awards.
Dude,
I wish we'd have caught that
believe
one.
it.
we weren't doing this at the time,
Yeah.
but we were watching it together, man. I kid you not, we had tears. We were crying at how you can't see. I have
Tears of joy.
Persona 5.
Tears
Yeah.
of joy. Yeah, tears of joy.
I
of
have
course.
Persona 5 stuff like in behind me. Like I am a huge Persona fan. When I
Yeah.
saw that, I was like combination of crying, laughing, and just like bawling out hysterically because I was just
Dude.
like I didn't know what the fuck was happening, dude. It was
Dude,
just
dude,
fantastic.
Watch our
And I
reaction.
wish we
If you
recorded
ha- I
that.
don't know if
Okay.
you haven't seen,
Watch
if you've
the
seen it,
reaction.
but watch our reaction.
I
You'll
have
see what the
not,
fuck.
I'll watch it.
People reference me so much because I have the stupidest shit. I do the stupid. Like I'm a big Sega kid, right? So I
Yeah.
love Panzer Dragoon. So when that remake was announced, I bawled. I cried.
Yeah.
I was like,
So-
holy shit, this is happening.
But you're
And
not
we
a
had-
bitch. You're
And
not a bitch.
exactly. I said that was I'm not a bitch. But like, and the crazy thing was that we made a bet before the show
Okay.
started, and we were like, they were like, "Oh, what's your hope and dream, dude?" I was like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
Panzer Dragoon, Panzer," and it fucking happened, dude. I was like,
Mhm.
"No way."
Your
So,
just
like,
brain explodes at that
Yeah,
point. Just
so,
that's
like-
all. Yeah.
I don't
The
know,
next
man.
big one for me, man, is if they make a Metal Gear Solid remake of some sort.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, Kelvin. I don't know why you're like
I'm losing
if they
hope,
make
man.
it.
I'm
No,
losing
it's
hope.
gonna
A lot
happen.
of
It's
leaks
too big of an
are
IP that they wouldn't do it.
No, Konami
I'm
needs
hoping.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
But
they're gonna do
if that does happen, I'm assuming it'll be in a PlayStation event of some sort, maybe a
Yeah.
showcase.
Yeah.
And if we record that, and if you see me like in that video, you will see me literally losing my shit.
I'll
And
be there with
I'm
you, dude.
all for it. I'm
I'll
all
be there
for
with
it.
you,
I
man. I
cannot
love Metal
fucking
Gear,
wait.
man. Metal Gear Solid 2. I go back and forth between 2 and 3. I don't know which one is my
3
favorite.
is
Sometimes
like-
I
3 is
used to
my
go with
God.
3, but like
is
2,
so good.
2, the fucking meta commentary. that Kojima
Yes.
put in there. It's so
Yes.
relevant today, man.
Yeah.
It's so
100%,
crazy.
dude.
This motherfucker's a
100%.
Anyway,
There's no wrong answer when it comes to Metal Gear. Honestly,
no wrong answer.
They're
Well,
all
you could
each.
say acid. If you say acid, something.
No, I'm talking about the main line. Main line one
yeah,
through
okay.
one through
1 through
5.
4.
There's
Oh
not-
no,
yeah.
5. Right, I forget Phantom Pain.
Yeah. Let's not talk about
Wait,
that.
nobody likes Survive? No.
Anyways,
No?
so
Speaking
my
of
other question-
games that can't exist without their publishers there.
I do have a
Yeah.
weird question on your Twitter, right? You guys have a little mouse or rat emoji. What is that?
Oh yeah, what is that? Yeah, what is that? I was
How do you
looking
think,
at
Rudy,
that.
do you know that? Do you know what that is?
No, enlighten me.
What does
I
the
did that, I
mouse
did that.
signify?
So when Musk bought out Twitter and he announced that they were gonna make the check marks like you had to buy them essentially, some random fucking guy was like, "Yo, why buy a check mark? You can get a free rat." And then that tweet went viral, and a bunch of people did it. And I was like, "That's pretty fucking funny." Here you go. Even Arlo did it for a while. So I was like,
Alright,
that's how I saw it, because Arlo retweeted
Okay.
and he was like, "All right, I'm rad verified," and I did that. I
Yep,
was
yep,
like, that's
yep.
fucking funny. It's a
Oh,
good way to
wow.
make fun of the whole Twitter shit with Musk. So
Gotcha.
That's actually clever. I like that.
That's
yeah,
cool. I
he's
like
like,
that.
That's
I'm,
funny.
I'm rad verified, baby. I never changed
There
it.
you
I don't
go.
know if I will. I kind of thought about doing some fun stuff with the name every once in a while, but
I was literally trying to like take the rat and the gaming resume together. I was like, what the fuck? How did they
Yeah, I
come
was
about? How did they come
dissecting that.
together?
I'm like,
Cryptic message or
it
whatever.
was a cryptic message. I thought that's what it was. but
rats.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Oh, dude, no, I don't know if you guys ever played Eternal Darkness, but there's a line about "Let the rats feast on your
No.
eyes."
Dude, so I that store that I went to the other day, like
Oh,
they
yeah.
had it there, and I
How much was
almost
a copy,
bought
ever?
it.
How much
I think
was
it
it?
was $74.99.
That's actually
Oh.
not bad for a
For
fucking-
GameCube?
Yeah, it's not
Yes,
bad.
like the cover was a little beat up, but dude, like I saw it on the shelf and I was like, I don't know. I think I might go back and buy it.
Listen, if you are continuing to think about it and it's not leaving your brain,
right.
you need to just buy
Just
it.
do it,
Like,
man.
Just do
Just
it.
do
That's my goal, or like
Buy
my
it,
motto is just like, you can't
and
get
then
out of your
just-
head, just buy it.
Emulate it.
No, that is
That's Rob's
It's
motto,
not the
too. That's Rob's
same.
motto.
It's not the same though. Emulating too though. Like
That-
it's
Listen, I just played through the entirety of Metroid Prime 1 through emulation. I'm
waiting.
Man, I
I'm
loved
waiting.
it.
There's gonna be a remake at some point, right? You would think.
I think the remaster is more than likely.
yeah,
honestly.
remaster. I
Yeah.
think they'll do
Yeah,
first.
But
before
I already played the remaster, dude.
the one for Wii
'cause
Wii
he
U.
had
No,
Or
the
Wii.
emulation, bro. The emulation.
Yeah.
I installed HD texture packs. I installed like a white screen thing.
Jesus.
Like, dude, the game looks exceptional. Like this is what, like, if Nintendo doesn't give me at least that with the remaster, it's a failure. Straight up. Because this was so well done, you know? But yeah, dude, like emulation, like I'm definitely big on it. I mean, I typically only emulate games that either I own or games that I literally cannot buy anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I do it, you know? So, yeah.
Interesting, man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do it.
Yep.
So we'll wrap up here real quick. Last thing I want to ask you guys. This is kind of like a generic question, but I think it's a good question. And I'll start with Onyx. What's your favorite game ever? Like favorite franchise, favorite game? I guess.
I'm
Shit,
glad you
see-
started with Onix.
Yeah, it gives you time to think, right?
I know.
You got to pick one. If you can't pick one, you gave me top two. But try to.
I got you.
Which Final Fantasy?
So-
Let's be honest.
Wait,
Which
is
one
it-
is it?
Okay.
Are we talking franchise or
No,
one
he said
specific
ever.
game?
He said ever.
Ever.
You could
So-
say franchise, but you have to pick one game within that.
Yeah, I
franchise,
got you.
guess.
No,
Yeah.
listen.
Okay.
I actually
you.
have thought about this before, right? I think everybody does when you're into gaming. And it varies. It used to be Majora's Mask. It used to be Metal Gear Solid 3 or 2.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 10. It kind of gets very Metroid Prime 1, right? Those have been like my old time, you know. But as of recently, again, because of my certain love for Final
Oh
Fantasy,
my God, you're.
I keep thinking of Final Fantasy 10.
14. Oh, okay.
So, no.
I was about
Oh,
to say,
God,
Jesus
no,
Christ,
it's like,
I'm gonna
bro,
download that shit
14.
right now.
All the way. Oh
God.
man.
Like, so I've been going back to Final Fantasy 10 a lot, and like I did a short replay on Twitch where I kind of went through the first like 3 or 4 or 5 hours of the game, and I was just like, fuck, this game is really fucking good. And I kind of wanted to watch like some video essays on it and stuff, and just kind of like remember stuff from like how long ago it's been. And there's just so much about Final Fantasy X, about the writing. It's a tragedy, right? It's a tragedy with such a hopeful message. And like in times like these where we're at right now, it's like I really like stories like that in general. I like things that make me think a little more, right? I don't mind, you know, entry level or superficial level stories. I really don't, right? As long as the gameplay is good. But when you have good gameplay and then you have shit that makes you think about things, that makes you like really question, like Metal Gear Solid 2, for example.
Yes.
I just those are the type of games and experiences that genuinely stick with me. And recently, Final Fantasy X has really been on top of mind a lot. So for now, that's what I'm going to give you, and that's really, really closely Majora's Mask.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice. I think the summon design that were some of the best in the game and ever. And then so you think of like you tend to think about Titus, right? Like the main protagonist in the game, but the back. Like the supporting cast was insane. Like you had Lulu, Waka, Orin is a badass. Like
and Orin's story too.
Orin's Orin's fucking dope.
Yeah,
I remember Rob playing that game and he was like, "Look at this! Like look at this game! Like look at how good this game is."
It was so beautiful when it came out, dude.
Yeah,
that shit was exceptional. Like I remember being like, "Wow, these are graphics! Wow."
Yeah, I remember that stupid fucking bitch on the.
The anger, dude.
The airship, when you're on the airship and you have to fight it's like I don't know if it's Sin.
Or was it the dragon?
It was a dragon, and I kept dying. Over and over again. He just do one attack and it would just obliterate me. It pissed me off.
The third fight against Seymour on Mount Gagazet. I don't know if you remember that one in the snowy mountain. Like that was a tough ass fight.
Those boss fights were insane sometimes with that game.
RPGs back in the day, man, they did not hold back, like, man. Xenosaga was a pain in the ass. There was a lot of games that I was just like, fuck, dude. Like I was a kid. Leave me alone. Like, Jesus.
That's why I'm so excited for 16, because for a while, right, there was a lull in Final Fantasy. There were good games coming out, but they weren't hitting those classic feelings of like 7 through 10, was like those 4 or 5 years of like excellence every time.
Yes, dude. Yes.
And then 13 came out and it went down.
Man, see, and 13, I don't want to call myself a 13 apologist because I've always liked 13, but
he is
13 pretty much. I genuinely think 13 got a lot of unfair hate because 13 is very linear to 10, even though 10 obviously had way more openness to it. It wasn't a genuine line for 40 hours of the game. But it's specifically comparing it to 7R. A lot of the staff is the same, and a lot of the game design is actually really similar to 13.
It is. You're 100% right now. You say that. It is very similar to 13, but I also think it was a transition from 12 to 13. 12 was very big and ambitious and open, and then you're in the little box, and you're like, what the hell happened?
It was like,
especially for a next gen title.
Yes,
you're expecting more, and then it just kind of was the complete opposite, right?
Dude, but it looked beautiful. It still holds up today.
Yes,
which is crazy to think about, right? It came out in 2009, I think it was. It's been a while,
dude. Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I'm just really excited for the future of Final Fantasy, especially now that I'm like super hooked into 14. I'm like, oh hell yeah, 16. Right in here, baby.
Yes, yes. I can't wait,
dude. Are you going to be getting the special edition, the $350 one with the statue?
Me and Rudy are idiots, and that's all.
So that's a yes. That is a yes.
We pre-ordered it already. Hour 1, we were like, all right, we're gonna get this right, Rudy. Yep. Okay, let's fucking.
So Rudy, you are also a huge Final. I don't hear you talk about Final Fantasy as much as Onix does. So you're very into Final Fantasy as well, or
he's spending $350 on a statue, I would imagine. So.
I like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is phenomenal. I do not have as much attachment to Final Fantasy 7 as Onix because I started with 8. And
I did too, which is funny. I also love 8, but I do love 7 a lot too. But I also started with 8.
Oh yeah. 8 on PC for you, yeah? If I remember correctly? Yeah, it's
8 Leon, right? Leon Gunblade?
Squall, Leonhardt. So, but Leon is his name in Kingdom Hearts. So
yes. That's probably why I got confused there.
Yeah. Oh, you're good. He is an interesting character, to say the least. The game was flawed and broken, but I loved it. 9 came out, and it was an immediate, I need to buy this.
Yeah.
And out of all 3, 9 is my favorite just because everything is just phenomenal
It's
in
so
it.
good.
It's kind of
That
like
game is incredible. Yeah.
it hit some deep topics and everything like that. If I were to say, if I were to like pick like a game for myself, because I'm sitting here, I'm looking at, I have a fucking wall of like just games that are just sitting here on the side. And I've been,
I
like,
know you're
looking
a Nintendo fan.
You are.
I'm an everything fan, man. Like I have PS2, like I have everything here. But like immediately, the first thing that came into my mind was Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus is like I have bought it on like every single release. PlayStation 2. Like I remember Onix and I, alongside with I think it was Izzy and Sean.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
We all 4 of us were in my house, running on my PS2 Slim. I had a PlayStation Underground, and they had a demo for it.
PlayStation Underground, dude. Wow.
Bro, I still have the disc here. I still have the disc. It's right there. And I was like, I had that, and I was like, guys, you got to check this out. It's like, it's really good. Blah 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 blah. And like, and then they like put it on, and then like the music starts playing, and the Colossus is over there, and like the distance is like.
What is it called? The
game,
soundtrack?
Dude.
What the dynamic soundtrack? How it changed when you grabbed onto the Colossi? Like that shit was like, whoa! What
it
is
was
this?
like bonkers, absolutely insane, and like, I immediately that came to mind. Metroid Prime 1, instantly. Like Super Metroid is another one. I'm a big Metroid. Like that's a Metroid poster. Like of the Famicom edition of Metroid, Super Metroid.
Japanese one. To be fair.
The Japanese
it's a
one,
Famicom.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. But it's like that comes to mind. Eco, which is like another one that's phenomenal. I love The Witcher. The Witcher 3 is like amazingness for me. There are so many like big titles that I've played, but I always tend to go back to Shadow of the Colossus.
Really?
Like,
it's a great game, dude.
Man.
Phenomenal game.
And I wish more people would play it. That's the thing. Like, it's not mainstream by any means.
No,
but it's not, which is weird. But it paved the way for I think a lot of games now. As far as
Shadow of the Colossus and Eco, both were like pivotal games.
Yes, 100%
development.
Yeah.
I think it was more artistic in my opinion. It was just like such a phenomenal game that you don't look at it as a video game per se, but you look at it as like a art piece.
Like a beautiful
art. And I'm just like, holy shit, like this is just a gorgeous like concept of like grabbing these colossi and just climbing up, and then you have the music, and then you have the scope of everything. Like you just
the story
narrative
twist, like
just the way you climb those things, right? And I remember like you feel like you're grabbing its hair, and you're like, and when you stab, it's like, and you feel it, and it's like just
shakes
like,
you around like a rag ball.
So good, good choice.
Like plus the music too. Like you really can't not emphasize how powerful the music was. Like it was it was perfection.
Yeah. I don't remember if I played the original one or if I played the remastered version.
Damn, I might have to pick up Shadow of the Colossus. Steam Deck, where you at? Let me grab it.
Seriously, because I know they remade it, correct?
Blue Point,
right?
Blue
Point they remade the game. I don't think I played that version. I feel like I have to get that again.
PS3 or PS4 did they do it for?
PS4.
It was PS4.
It came out on PS2. Then on PS3 they came out with an HD collection that had both. And
that's where I played it. Yes,
PlayStation
the
4
HD collection.
There's a PlayStation 4 version where like Blue Point really remade everything, and it is freaking beautiful.
It is.
Like they only added one thing in there, but it's nothing major. It's like you have to. So, what was his? What was it? Onix. What's the name of that content creator that made a video? You
was
love
it Jacob
him.
Geller?
Yes, Jacob Geller.
The last surprise or the last
yes.
What's it called? The last hidden thing, whatever.
The last hidden thing of the Shadow Colossus or something like that. And he like it was like this culmination of like the entire community trying to figure out like the last hidden secret.
Yeah.
And because when the game came out, there was plans for more colossi, more puzzles, more things, and it just couldn't happen due to limitations, time, development, all sorts of things.
Sure.
But then the demo had all of this extra content that was hidden that, obviously you could jailbreak,
hack into it and stuff.
And hack into it and find. So there's a ton of cool shit, man. Like, but yeah, it's a game that it's like you said, Kelvin, piece of art, man. Freaking
It's one of
amazing.
the first games that I remember. Like, what was his name? Roger Ebert, is that his name? The big movie critic that was big. Like he always criticized video games, and I remember when Shadow of the Colossus first came out, and people kind of learned about it. That was the game that people were like, dude, if you're gonna show this guy, this big movie critic, like a game as a piece of art, this is it. You know, it really is. Like Rudy said, unfortunately, not many people have played it, and people know of the name, but it is a hallmark, like a landmark title in game development, just as important as Eco was too, because like we can't de-emphasize how important Eco was as well to 3D
for that game, right?
But like Shadow of the Colossus is just fucking exceptional. It really is. Nothing like it. Nothing like it since 2. That's a crazy shit. Nothing like it.
Right. There was that. What was the game? Pray
for the Gods or Pray of the Gods.
Pray for the Gods. Yeah. Or Pray of the Gods.
Yeah.
But I don't think it did.
Well. Yeah.
It was trying to like kind of emulate that same feeling of like scope.
Just couldn't hit it.
And it just didn't happen. Didn't happen, unfortunately. But yeah, that's me.
That excellent choices, boys. Honestly, very, very good choices. I can't. I'm not going to be like, no, those are not the right answers. Like those are
phenomenal answers.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining our podcast here. It was, when I say, a blast having you on, and the fact that we're so well versed with video games. This is why we're at the 2 hour 15-minute mark, because we don't know how to shut up. You know, like that's just what happens. I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen. I was like,
I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah. So, thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate you guys coming up, and
thanks for having us, man. It's an honor. Seriously, it's good times.
Kelvin, anything else for the gaming resume while they're here? While we have them.
No, guys. Thanks again for coming. Guys, check them out. Again, if you guys want to plug in your stuff here, now's the time for sure.
Yeah. But mine's real simple. Onix F. If you want to see some videos, I've definitely slowed down thanks to a certain MMO. But I do still plan on creating videos. It's just going to be very different. I don't have the time to create many videos. So one every couple months. But it is what it is. I'm just doing it because I love it. And so Onix F, and then of course the gaming resume is our other channel, which both me and Rudy run. And stay tuned for that. That one we're definitely more active in. At least I am. And we also stream on Twitch Mondays and Thursdays.
Yep, definitely at the gaming resume. And then my channel is at Baldly Rudy. That is Baldly Rudy literally everywhere. It's more tech and gaming stuff. I'm trying to do stuff on there, but I'm still figuring it out. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Whatever you're doing is working, man. It's working. Yeah, you hit gold on that for I'm telling you right now. But I'm gonna watch your little the joystick video that you guys.
That shit is so
we're talking about
cool.
that. Yeah, man.
Like,
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, it's super cool. It feels different, but it's still cool.
Imagine, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. I just real quick before we end, I just bought my girlfriend a Switch Lite, and I have an OLED, and I have a Steam Deck, and I'm holding this thing, and I'm like, yo, this is dope. I'm like, this is so, like, if there's a console I want to take with me everywhere, I'm bringing the Lite. I'm not bringing my Switch OLED. I'm not bringing the Steam Deck. I'm bringing this little thing. This little thing is pretty much like.
Yep.
It made me miss like how small consoles were, like the handhelds were.
Pocket size, man. I missed the
it's
pocket
so
size.
good.
3DS, and all that, man. I missed that.
Yeah, so highly recommend. I might just buy like a Switch Lite just as like a little daily driver or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But anyhow, great content, guys, from both of you. Big things to come, and watch our reaction video on the Xbox Direct. That's their newest one.
Absolutely.
I'll post all links on the description below for both you guys. And again, thank you everyone tuning in. Live guys, audio listeners, please leave us a review on all of your streaming services, Spotify, Apple, where you listen to all your favorite podcast. And that's pretty much it. Kelvin, anything else before we go?
I think we're good.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming. Again, thank you to the Gaming Resume. Have a good night.
See you guys.